Let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
5 seconds remaining. 4, 3, 2, 1. It is all over. The Edmonton Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
Georgie! Georgie! Let's get nuts!
Swing it and drive. Get up, dog. Get out of here. What a rocket. A rocket. And how about another one? It's a two-jacket day. He is on fire. Stay high, Marcus.
Huge.
What a moment for George Springer. George Springer.
I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye?
Bo.
Right center field, Buxton back, and it's gone!
Bo.
I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye?
Bo. Bo.
I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye?
Bo. Bo, Bichette.
Number 25.
How you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me now?
Hey, where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from?
Pulls it down the left field line. Gone! There it is right there.
Daddy, I got it.
Hey, where'd you get that body from?
I got it from my
Vlad, 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 Vlad,
I got it from my
Vlad, 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 Vlad.
How about those Blue Jays? 2 home runs in the 9th to walk it off against the D-backs.
Interleague play.
Incredible win. Didn't have to have it, but they got the job done anyway.
3 games back of the Yankees.
I am
For
so
tops in
on
the AL
board with them trying to track down the Yankees for top spot in the AL East.
You never left.
No, I've been there the whole time.
Is that a Jays hat on your head backwards? It's blue.
This happens in Sports Talk hat. We were going to do that bit where we tried to talk Blue Jays as much as we possibly could.
I think we went long enough.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Enough Blue Jays talk, boys.
3-4 songs?
I mean, it worked out really well that they actually
highly impressive.
Had Bobo Bichette, hit a bomb in the 9th last night. Nobody was paying attention to that. I knew that. I thought I saw the Vladdy home run at some point, but
Also missed the Barger song, but we're
going to work on that. He's larger than life. We got the whole summer to work through this. Now, the next 2 weeks, we've got possible trades at the draft and free agency and all that fun stuff. But today we have to talk about a hockey game in which the significantly better team won the Stanley Cup and probably should have won it even sooner.
Yeah, I think a series.
Yeah. No, it was a tough pill to swallow last night. How is everybody doing today? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can get in today. We will. There's lots to discuss. I was on TSN 1050 today already. Already recorded my hit with the Bear. And both times they're like, guys, how's everybody how's everybody doing? I said, like, I think you have, and I think we have to start here on this show today as well. See this hat right here? I'm taking it off and I'm tipping it to the Florida Panthers.
Oh.
Because is that how you do? Or did you tip it when you're on? Like, this is that Ritu Peck thing when that kid to D. Jeter was like,
I think it depends on the style of hat too.
Maybe
if you're wearing a cap, I think
maybe.
you can take it off. And
I do want to tip my hat.
if you're wearing like a cowboy hat or a
That would have been
top hat,
better.
you maybe-
Or my gentleman sweep
gentleman's
show
hat,
hat.
you
I
ain't gonna give it a tip, yeah.
definitely could have. But
Yeah.
Florida was by far the better team and probably should have won the series even quicker. I mean, the Florida Panthers are an extremely well-constructed team from top to bottom. They've got a Hall of Fame goaltender behind a really good blue line and a group of forwards 1 through 12 that were just so overwhelming that the Edmonton Oilers, as currently constructed and with their current health situation, just simply couldn't match up.
and a highly analytical management group there. They put together a good team.
They put together an
and they
amazing
have been
team.
putting together good teams over the years.
There's a lot, and I understand. I'm curious. Let's just start there with this fan base right now. Are you in the same mindset that you're just like the Oilers walked through the West? Like, the Oilers are a really good hockey team. I know today you might not want to, but the Oilers are a really good hockey team. But Florida's just on another level.
Yep.
Like, if you were to look at the league right now, it would be these two teams went to back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals. So here's the Flames down here in this sort of group with the Canucks, and then you move up to like the Jets and the Leafs and stuff. And then you get the Oilers, who are up here, and then you get Florida, who's like way the hell up here. I mean, Florida's just an incredible hockey team. But there are flaws with this Oilers roster that we will discuss and we'll break down over the next few weeks leading into free agency and where will this money be spent and how much can you spend on this guy. But the Florida Panthers are an absolute wagon. So as a fan this morning, I know you're devastated. We'll talk to our guy, Trev, here in a second. We know you're devastated today, but how much of your reaction is driven by, oh my God, we have to blame this guy, and this guy, or how much of it is this morning just they weren't near as good as Florida and they didn't deserve to win?
And how far off, like how near to Florida? You're switching goalies,
Yeah.
your guys are in and out of the lineup. Florida was static the entire way through. You knew what you were getting. So I'm just wondering how far that gap is.
I know last year they fell behind 3-0, but that last year's team was closer to beating Florida than this team.
But you would also agree that this year's Florida team is
this year's
better?
Florida team
Yeah.
somehow is better than a team that's been. One of the guys texted in our EST group chat last night. Maybe it was Gager. Florida looked like they could go play another round. Like, Florida looked like it was just like, okay, who's next?
Yeah.
They were terrific. So yeah, I'm curious, genuinely curious if you're just like brokenhearted today and it's just Florida's too good, or if you're sitting there today insanely angry being like, if this guy was better, they would have beat him. If this guy was better, they would have beat him, that type of thing. Like, even Zach Hyman's an incredible player, was having a pretty good playoffs, would have helped them. They weren't beating Florida even with Zach Hyman. I don't think they were.
It would have helped.
It would have helped when nobody else did anything up front.
Sure.
I mean, last night's game was, and we'll get into last night's game. We have the morning after show coming up. Noodles is flying out today. He was here last night. He's flying out. Button's going to slide back in today at 7 o'clock. Let's lay out the show for you. Then we'll get down to business here. The Nielsen Show today and every day brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev. Check them out, www.southfortchev.com. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio today. You can text us the Paris Jewelers inbox. Hey, PJ's inbox. Yes. Be ready for a pretty busy day. Okay.
We don't normally block people on there. I came in this morning, cracked open the Paris Jewelers inbox, had to block a number.
First thing this morning?
From like mid last night. Like, this thing's obviously. And now people are like.
Was that the guy who told Hernan and Tommy to S his D?
No, this is another guy.
Oh, okay.
And all random numbers. Like, nobody of name here that we need to know. But
it's not like the Saskatoon Muncher.
No,
it's like, F you guys.
Yeah. Somebody wants us to open the phone lines. The Paris Jewelers.
You know what? In order to do that, we'd be like, okay, call my cell. And then it's just like, oh, what do you think?
Don't give anybody any ideas.
No, I definitely won't.
We did
you know
enough
what
of that yesterday.
I blame Atif's song.
Well, you have
yesterday.
to.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sorry, Atif, but you blew it, man. Text of the day today will go to A&W. When a gift certificate to A&W, they got the new masala veggie burger, and it's here to stay only at A&W. Limited time price at $6 right now. Let's lay out the show for you today. That sucked last night, man.
Well, it's off season.
What off season?
What off season?
We're there.
Indeed.
We're there. Morning announcements coming up. I mean, that's just going to be more Oilers talk. Morning after show. Obviously, we're breaking down the game. The Fan Zone for Fans First. You know where we're going to go there. Craig Button will join us for Pro-Am Sports just after 7 o'clock. Play Alberta Early Bird Bet of the Day. Free advice for Damien Bunting. Legal analyst Eric Macramalla. We'll get into that. Macramalla intros I'm going to have to sort through here. There'll probably be a few. If you have Macramalla intros, feel free to send them in. He'll be by. We'll get his thoughts on Florida, a dynasty. Back-to-back cups with another cup trip.
Modern day cap dynasty.
I was asked that question this morning on one of the shows I was on, and I was just like, I don't know if we'll see more of a dynasty than this. So I guess maybe, but we're definitely loosely using the term compared to past dynasties.
Yes,
but,
sure. Yeah.
3 questions too many for the great staff of Park Mazda. Greg Washinsky from ESPN. He'll join us around 8:30 today. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power, and then the wrap for William Huff. So we do have lots to get to on the show today. The inbox is busy, and we'll get to those as we work our way through the show this morning. Trev, I hate to do this to you, but we have to hear. So Marshall had a hockey game last night, and it was probably the best. He still had a cry.
And as you said, it was kind of in the middle of the proceedings.
It was in the middle.
Right?
We watched the first period together. Then we busted our ass over to River Cree. They played a playoff game. They won, actually.
Good.
So that was nice. He was excited about that. And got a coupon for a free hot dog or hamburger at the concession. And a hat because they were the best shootout team all year. So there were some minor victories in the Nielsen household last night.
You take them.
But when we got home, he had a little cry. But if he would have been watching that game from start to finish, he would have probably broke something in the house. So it ended up working out okay, I guess, for him. Tammy was so bitter last night. I thought she was mad at me.
Bitter.
Yeah,
That's
she was very angry.
bitter,
She was bitter. And I was like, are you mad at me? She goes, no, I'm just mad at the team. I said, but are you sure you're not a little mad at me? Because, it's just, you get that sense. But she was just so mad at the team. Trev, so answer that question. Trev's just like, I'm not saying a word. Are you more on the tip your hat to Florida train right now, or are you more on Skinner will never win and McDavid has no points in the last game 6, 7, and 6 against Florida, and the bottom 6 did nothing? What's your mindset right now? And I'm sorry, buddy.
That sucks. That really sucks. Oh, that sucks so much. Yeah, it's a credit to Florida. I think, I listened to McDavid's post game, which we will get into.
We will get to that, yes.
And he's not making any excuses for the team, nor do I think we should. I think Florida Panthers are legit, and the record shows that back to back. That's tough to do. And last year, the Oilers made a series out of it, but this year, I think it could have been a sweep. Really, you flip the coin there in overtime. Who wins? Yeah. I don't know. The Oilers were able to get 2, which is crazy. But
last year's team early in the series should have had a better fate. I think they were all over him. Bobrovsky was unreal early last year. Yeah,
game 1 of last year's final, the Oilers brought it to him, and you couldn't really say that about any game for the Oilers in this final. They didn't bring it to him. They were waiting for the best. And I think that they tried. I really do. Obviously, I think they tried. They're going to tell you that they tried. They're not going into the final saying, no, let's take it easy. No, they are going in, full, let's go. And I think it's just credit to Paul Maurice, the coaching staff, the management, what they were able to do at the trade deadline. I've never realized how much the trade deadline means for contenders until I guess this year, because Brad Marchand and Seth, if you win trade deadline, look what that did for them. I don't know if this team is without Brad Marchand. It's so many what ifs, but yeah, like they're unreal, and it sucks. It sucks to say it, but it's true. It's damn true.
Beaten by the best, though.
Beaten by the best.
Again, we said too, if the Leafs would have made it there,
if the Leafs could have just finished off the Panthers, they would be Stanley Cup champions right now.
Sure. But again, losing to Florida,
nobody's knocking off Florida, man.
I know, but there's no shame, I think, either in losing to this Florida Panthers team. There's just not.
I said that at the beginning of the series. I said there's no shame in losing to Florida, and at that time I said there's no shame in Florida losing to Edmonton, but I was wrong on that front. If that Florida team that we just saw somehow blew it against these Oilers, they should have been ashamed. I mean, that Florida might be just as good, if not better, next year. They've got $19 million in cap space. Somebody said this morning that Bill Zito's like, I might be able to find a way to keep all three of Ekblad, Bennett, and Marchand.
And why wouldn't you want to stay?
Like why would you leave there?
Atmosphere? And I'm not. That's not tax related or any of that.
But, I mean, it's slightly tax related.
But hockey.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're a contender.
Yeah,
they're the best team in the league. Why would you want to leave there to go somewhere else right now? So. Part of me thinks it's insane to think they get Ekblad, Bennett, and Marchand done for $19 million, but does Zito move out a different piece to keep those guys around? Or do they all sort of say, like, hey, let's just somehow find a way to make this $19 million work? So Florida is going to be a very good team for a few more years, undoubtedly. But at the same time, I mean, the Oilers last night, that first goal, it was just a train wreck. It was a train wreck. Like, Ekholm has the puck. All three forwards are completely gone up the ice. So he plays it over to Bouchard. Fired a bloody grenade to Evan Bouchard. I don't really want to blame Bouchard at all on that goal. Mind you, I didn't think he was good last night. You know, maybe a little lackadaisical in how he handled it. But then Ekholm gets walked around, and you let a guy who scored 50 goals in this league walk in all alone on self-inflicted wounds. Like, that can't happen. The second goal, Bouchard turns it over at the blue line. They seem to get back and recover, and Connor McDavid, for some reason,
they had the numbers.
They should have covered that one, no problem. Connor McDavid, for some reason, decides to go to the guy with the puck who's already being covered and leave the guy that he's supposed to have wide open. And that one ends up in the back of the net. At that point, it was over. The third goal was atrocious. I have no idea what Skinner was doing with that puck coming in. That was just a god-awful goal. I'm not hanging that on anybody else. Skinner cannot, any goalie in any league cannot just have a puck that could easily be handled. I know after the game he said he was trying to catch it between his arm.
Yeah, he didn't see it. What are you doing? There's no way that
how did you know? You don't think he saw it at all?
I think it was like last second reaction. Like, there's no way that's the play.
I mean,
you're
that
making.
does kind of make sense. But how do you not see that? It's not like it came through a bunch of screens.
He also said,
so you're kind of saying it just sort of hit him.
Yeah, like that.
I mean, with the way that he played it, it did kind of look like it just sort of hit him.
Yeah, that was my initial reaction. I'm like, okay, what's he doing here? I'm like, there's no way he saw this. He kind of just made a last second reaction. Like, there's no way. In the post game, he said, he's like, yeah, exactly what you said. I tried tucking it under,
Yeah, and then I was just like, what are you talking about?
He said it was a nothing shot.
I don't buy into
That's what he said.
That was just an awful goal. But even, I mean, they didn't have it. They're not going to beat the Florida Panthers. Simple as that. There's lots of different discussions to have, but offensively, they no-showed again, just like they did in Game 7 of last year. And that's a major concern as well. How about Reed Wilkins already in the chat this morning? My God, he was up doing the post-game show last night. I thought it was a tremendous post-game show last night. But Reed in the chat at like 6:13 this morning. With the wrench. It's not even an imposter Reed.
Reed the wrench.
It's the real Reed.
Home game.
Yeah. All right. 780. Let's get to some of your text messages here. 780-218-9999. And over in the nasty chat as well. Smith TM14 says Florida shut down Connor big time. I mean, not only did they shut him down, but McDavid and Draisaitl.
No shots for Draisaitl last night.
That's like we can sit here and talk about how the bottom 6 in this series was non-existent, and it was legitimately non-existent. Nothing from any of those guys. Henrique, nothing. Connor Brown, nothing. Matthias Janmark, nothing. The combination of Skinner and Arvidsson, essentially nothing, not even remotely close to what you needed. There was a non-factor. Ekholm probably shouldn't have been playing, but how do you tell that guy no? But he hurt them more than he helped them.
So that's how you like.
Bouchard was tremendous in the playoffs, but even like he had a tough night last night. But he was better in the playoffs than he was in the regular
Can't
season.
question Ekholm's toughness, though. Hey, in the end,
you can't.
Hey, as long as you're hurting the team, that's one thing. But boy, that's.
I mean, he hurt them more than he helped them.
And that's
coming back.
stupid.
I know.
Shit, that's what like it's so dumb.
Yeah. It's like,
What are we doing?
Look how tough he's
You
playing.
don't- you
Yeah, but
don't
he's
get
hurting you.
anything for-
He's hurting you. Like he got walked a couple times in the series that just simply can't happen. So like all of these things are 100% legitimate conversation points. But McDavid and Draisaitl last night, I would think I'd say in the first period they were their worst line. They were on for both of the goals against. McDavid was directly responsible for the second goal. That's a tough look. That's a tough look. So even when those guys are being outplayed and being dominated and finish a Stanley Cup Final where we're just like, well, how are McDavid and Draisaitl? Meh. And maybe all the credit goes to Barkov and what the Florida Panthers do.
Well, you brought up the nuclear option too before we hit air, and I think coaching is another aspect that we can discuss.
I know last night in the postgame show, a lot of people were talking about, they went to them too soon after the first goal. They were together for the first goal. I didn't like. I thought the Oilers once again. It's the same thing that we saw a couple times in the series, where they had an okay start, like briefly. Right, they came out. I liked their first 3-4 minutes, and then the first time they put McDavid and Draisaitl together, the puck ended up in the back of the net. It's not like Knobloch was like after they're down 1-0, being like, we gotta get. They were on the ice together for the first goal against. So. Yeah, I mean, those guys simply were. Nobody was good enough. Nobody was good enough. Top down. And now I guess you have to have faith in Jeff Jackson and Bowman in making the right changes in the offseason. And I know I saw a lot of people last night being like, just get a goalie and it'll be, but no. I mean, not to beat Florida. Not to beat Florida. Like, unless I will say, if you flip Bobrovsky and Skinner, do the Oilers win this series? Maybe. I mean,
maybe steal it.
Bobrovsky's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's won multiple Vezinas. He's won multiple cups. He's one of the best goalies we've seen in the last 15 years. If you can get that guy, you're right. You probably get that guy. But I don't think the Oilers lost this series because of goaltending. I thought they lost this series because they were completely overwhelmed as a group by the Florida Panthers. Now, if they can upgrade goaltending, of course they should do it. But I think they'll have to get very creative to do that. I'm not sure I have faith in them actually being able to accomplish it. Somebody was saying, like, Stan Bowman during the season was like, oh, Skinner's the guy.
Oh, it wasn't on the...
And, I mean, I don't believe him. I don't think he believes that. I think they'll try to change the goaltending in some fashion, and they probably can. But the rest of the team in front of the goaltenders were not beating the Florida Panthers either. They crushed the West. They're still going to be a contender in the West. They could come out of the West again. I mean, they made the West their B word in the playoffs this year. But you've got a bunch of forwards who do absolutely nothing. McDavid and Draisaitl were not remotely close to what you needed from them in this series. The blue line, I haven't mentioned Darnell Nurse yet. He had a horrible playoffs compared to his regular season. And then the goaltending wasn't good enough. I'll give you that.
I think Evander
But if
Kane
you think the
well.
goaltending's the only fix that this team needs, and you didn't watch this series,
Kane leaving as he did in the game was quite
it's fitting.
Wrapped up on.
Arvidsson will be gone. Arvidsson wanted to be gone in February. Arvidsson will be gone now. Skinner, obviously, Jeff Skinner will be gone. Evander Kane probably somehow should be gone just because I think you could probably spend that money in a better situation right now. It sounds bad to say today, but I don't hate their blue line. Like a healthy Ekholm next year should still be a good contributor.
Announced himself.
Wallman, there are parts of his game I really like. Other parts I'm like, Bouchard, we'll have a lot of time to discuss the whole Bouchard thing. I don't know. I mean, nobody's going to take Nurse.
I know.
So
I know.
And he was pretty good in the regular season. I don't hate the blue line. But if you could, I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
This bottom 6 that they had in the playoffs, I mean, bottom 9. I mean, in the Stanley Cup Final, all 12 forwards. With maybe the exception of Corey Perry based on expectations. So there needs to be changes. And I think we've probably gotten to the point where they have to they have to think about maybe trying to find a way to free up the Nurse contract, or this core that's so tight and so together. It might be time to be like, that guy's got to go to change things.
Yeah, we've done the weddings.
Like
as
a group,
you can move on now.
You've had 3 to 4 years as being a really good team, and that core hasn't been able to get it done. And there's a lot of pieces around the core that need to be improved, but you might be at the point where, especially with guys who didn't bring in the core, to look at Nurse, Nuge, whoever, and be like, can this team legitimately get better in a different fashion? Like, you have to have that conversation. So 780-218-9999. Jockstrap sniffer, of course. It's time to accept the fact that McDavid won't resign. I think you're a fool to think that Connor McDavid is not going anywhere.
We're a fool
I'm
for
not
reading
even,
it.
I know I shouldn't even have brought it up, but I am
Okay,
glad I brought it up.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm going to make
Address
the comment now, and then we're not going to talk about it
Exactly,
again.
yeah.
Connor McDavid isn't going anywhere. Don't waste your time with that conversation. Done and done. Now let's get back to the game last night and your text messages. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. If you are watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. Trev, changing 100.
Changing 100.
So keep hammering the thumbs up for us. Sub to the channel. It was a hell of a run. Like, man, did we have a lot of fun. A ton of great content, a ton of great bits, a ton of great watch parties. Very memorable run through the postseason.
Yeah. Almost like there's so many that you need some sort of ranking system to determine a type of look back and
power rankings.
Catalog
Lieutenant Harris Weekly Rankings of Power coming up. And I think on Friday's show, we'll literally do like, maybe we'll just take yours, but I want to get to
Whiskey of the Week.
all of the audio from and we'll do like a countdown of playoff songs and
Why
stuff
not?
like that type of stuff on Friday. Today's not the day for that.
No.
But I did tweet last night, and I do genuinely believe this. And I know it's hard for people this morning to sort of suck it up, and I don't expect you to. I expect you to just embrace the hardship and broken hearts that you have right now, because that's what you do as a fan base, and it's part of the process of mourning something. But McDavid and Draisaitl are going to deliver a Stanley Cup to this city. It's going to they're going to get it. I know it's tough to see today. And you look at what about the cap here, and what about the goalie and all this? Those two guys are going to lift a Stanley Cup above their head in Edmonton Oilers in an Edmonton Oilers jersey. They will. It wasn't this year. It wasn't last year. But this is not, windows closed now. I don't believe that. I think they're going to deliver a Stanley Cup. And Matthew Tkachuk with an all-time troll job last night with that one comment when he said, Connor McDavid's an incredible player. He will win a Stanley Cup. And then like ... wherever it is or whatever the comment was.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
He's
elite at what he does. There's no doubt about that.
He'd look good in orange and blue, eh?
Yeah. I still like the Puljujarvi pick. So they weren't taking Tkachuk anyway. I just say that right now. All right, on the way next, we are going to keep hammering the inbox. PJ's inbox today is just no, leave me alone, leave me alone. We're going to get to it. The fan zone's coming up. We're going to get to the morning after show. We're going to hear what Connor McDavid had to say, and it's all going to be your texts and your chat between now and 7 o'clock. And Craig Button just after 7 o'clock, and then more of your texts and your chat this morning. And I do want to say, like, especially to Trev right here, but I do feel, I feel really bad for all you Oilers fans. I know you wanted it really bad, and I'm sad for all of you. It would have been glorious in this city if they managed to get it done, but you still have two of the best players in the world. You still have an organization that's been to back-to-back Stanley Cups, and I'm telling you, there will be a day here over the next 3 to 4 years where we're sitting on this show and we've got that little mini Stanley Cup that I have sitting at home that we play basement hockey for.
Yeah, right.
And it'll be sitting here. So chin up, but let's bitch about everything. We got the morning after show on the way next. Let's get to a sports update right now with Lieutenant Eric.
Sam Reinhart scoring 4 goals while Sam Bennett was awarded the Conn Smythe. With his playoff leading 15 goals, Panthers win their second straight cup over the Oilers' 5-1 final, taking the series in 6. The NHL draft will go June 27th from LA with free agency opening July 1. On the diamond, Dante Bichette and Addison Barger walked it off with back-to-back homers as the Jays take the opener over the Diamondbacks 5-4. Game 2 goes tonight, first pitch 5:07. Riverhawks hammered by the Bellingham Bells 7-1 to kick off a 6-game homestand. Those two teams go at it again later tonight. It's a game you can hear live on EST. First pitch 7:05. It is Running of the Gingers night, as people with red hair will get 50% off admission. Cactus Rats, meanwhile, with a big... Yeah. Oh, yeah. You show up. Yeah.
That's funny.
Running of the Gingers, baby. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. A bit of an Irish theme, I think, too.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's funny.
Yeah, if you got red hair.
That's funny.
Head on down to Remax tonight. The Cactus Rats with a big win. They opened a 2-game set out in Weyburn, 7-2 over the Beavers. Game 2 goes tonight, 7:05. Up next, more of your texts and reaction as we'll recap Game 6 on your morning after show as Hour 1 of the Nielson Show continues on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Being a fan of the Oilers today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to have your say? It's the morning after show where we will talk about the game and let you know who you should blame. You want a show where you will know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game. You want a show so people know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game.
The Edmonton Oilers losing Game 6, eliminated once again by the Florida Panthers, 5-1 the final. Let's dive into your morning after show. Then we'll get right into the fan zone for fansfirst.ca. Hell of a run with Fans First. Many of you saving hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Some of you thousands of dollars on tickets through the playoffs over at fansfirst.ca. Craig Button just after 7 o'clock this morning. He should have some fire in his belly, I think.
Kind of, I mean, I love noodles. I love all of our insiders' analysts, but Button on a day like today, maybe that's what we need.
I think Button might be.
Cloth,
No, that is true. All right. Let's break down this scoring summary quickly. We'll get into your EST big moment that happened, the super stat of the night, 4th and 38 stars of the game, and we will hear from Connor McDavid as well. Sam Reinhart opens the scoring unassisted after
first shot after the Oilers had a pretty good start.
They had a decent start again, and then Ekholm decides to pass a puck at Bouchard's shin pads. Bouchard can't handle it, plays it a little bit too soft. Reinhart takes it, walks around Ekholm, and then walks in and beats Stuart Skinner. His 8th of the playoffs, 436. Matthew Tkachuk off a turnover at the offensive blue line. McDavid doesn't pick him up, and he buries one. Shout out to Bouchard for leaving the man right in front all alone to get out of the way. No need to engage with the traffic, I guess, in front of the net. Second period, Sam Reinhart's 9th after a horrible, horrible rebound. And Barkov feeds it over to him. And then they pull the goalie with a ton of time left. And Reinhart tacks on 2 more into the empty net before Podkolzin would ruin the Bobrovsky shutout. But Sam Reinhart with 4 goals in this hockey game, and the Florida Panthers end up winning 5-1. What was the EST big moment that happened? What are you going with, buddy?
I know I think you said earlier the second goal. I'm going with the third goal. It's 2-0. We've seen this team. I know the vibe,
but I still don't think they would have done it. I don't think they would have come back.
But you got 2 periods at that point, and it's a backbreaker when it's so near the end of the frame. So 2-0, but you go through the second. Again, keeping shots 10-9 Edmonton the first, 10-9 Edmonton the second. You're still kind of in it. I know the vibe isn't there, but then you make it 3 with 3 to go or 2.5 to go, and like then to me it's.
I think that third goal is the moment it was over. But I think the big moment in the game is probably the first goal.
Yeah.
Like you have a relatively decent
summed up the
start.
series and
yeah, you have a relatively decent start. And then it pains me to look at this scoring summary and just see Sam Reinhart unassisted. Unassisted. He didn't need any help on that goal because the Oilers gift wrapped it for him. And when you're sitting there and you've been outscored 7-0 in the previous 3 first periods, you simply can't make the play that Matthias Ekholm made. 2 plays. I mean, first of all, horrible pass to Bouchard. Second of all, how are you getting walked by Reinhart when you basically had position on him? So to me, the big moment, the biggest moment that happened was the first goal of the hockey game last night because Florida didn't even need to do anything to get it. Like that's just a kick right in the balls for a team that's trying to come out of a first period not being down 2 goals. They allowed 2 goals in the first period of every game in this series. Super stat of the night. What are you going with?
0 shots for Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, he also had. And what was the other game he had 0 shots in? Like 3 games ago or 2 games ago? Yeah.
Podkolzin, Kapanen, and Perry led forwards with 3 shots each. So.
Yeah, I mean, Draisaitl and McDavid being the combined, like they're both -4 last night. And there's some empty netters, later on, but they were also on the ice for the first 2 goals against in the first period. That's an extremely tough look.
4 giveaways from Bouchard, -4 as well in the evening. Like you're looking at big boys. We talked about big boys and big dogs.
Yeah.
And that
as much as the overall concern of this team is the depth.
Yeah.
The big boys sucked last night.
Yeah.
They sucked.
Or were outclassed by the opposing.
No, they sucked.
Boys. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. But
look, we can say all we want about the Florida Panthers, but Leon Draisaitl not having a shot on goal in a must-win Game 6, that's not all on Florida. I mean, put some bloody pucks on net.
Sure, but there is credit to them doing their job too. In the end, shutting them down and neutralizing them. That's be better.
To keep them off the score sheet, sure, but to not have a shot on goal. You're telling me the Florida Panthers played such good defense against Leon Draisaitl for 60 minutes that he couldn't have a shot on goal? I don't think so. I mean, I think it's more on him than them. That's what I'm saying in that situation. That's not a good look. Also,
terrible look.
Very incredible that there was not a single power play in this hockey game. Of course, NHL officials totally nailed it. There was certainly no trip on McDavid.
Haven't we been here before?
There was no high stick on Podkolzin in the first. It was an incredibly clean hockey game, and you have to give full marks to the officials for getting to that point in a Game 6. Oh my God, they're just brilliant. 4th star of the hockey game last night. And we're going to hear from Connor McDavid. The 3 stars of the hockey game last night: Reinhart, Bobrovsky, and Tkachuk. Pretty easy selections there. Who's your 4th star of the game?
Usually I like to go with an Oiler, but or try to make a case to go with an Oiler. Carter Verhaeghe had 3 assists. He was also the instigator of the morning skate, which really kicked yesterday off. I mean, Tommy was
some people were more fired up about it than others.
Was ready to go down there.
Tommy was going to go down and drag Verhaeghe off the ice.
Yeah, like and like I don't know if like clearly that didn't fire them up. And
it did not.
And it didn't hurt the Panthers either. So Verhaeghe maybe taking those headlines and gotten people talking about that and then 3 assists on the night. I mean, talk about his game. So yeah, Carter Verhaeghe 3 assists, I think +4 as well in the evening.
38 star of the game. I mean, where do I go with one guy? I mean, I hated Ekholm's game. So there's that. But he was playing hurt. He was playing tough. You can't. How dare you? I think I have to go with the core guys who were on the ice for the goals against. Ekholm, Bouchard, McDavid, Draisaitl. Like they just simply were nowhere near good enough last night. Shout out Podkolzin for being +1.
Yeah, and Klingberg
also a +1. And Connor Brown, who had an assist. All right, let's hear what Connor McDavid had to say after losing a second straight Stanley Cup Final. This should be interesting.
What do you think happened tonight?
I lost to a really good team. Nobody quit. Nobody threw the towel in. And they're a heck of a team. The Stanley Cup champions back-to-back for a reason.
What's the difference in the series?
Obviously their forecheck was great. They tilted the rink. They were able to kind of stay on top of us all over the place. Never really able to generate any momentum up the ice. We kept trying the same thing over and over again, just banging our heads against the wall. So credit to them. They played well.
You guys played a pretty good first period. 2 mistakes ends up in the back of them. I guess is that the way you can't play mistake hockey?
Yeah, we kept on saying we want to try to win a 2-1 game. Never found a way to do that, obviously. They got great players. How many guys had 20-plus points in their postseason? They're as deep as it comes. 2 mistakes. You're right. I thought we put a pretty good period. 2 mistakes and chasing again.
Connor, you came into the playoffs with a lot of confidence and belief in this group. What's the takeaway here with the group and how far you did?
Still a lot of confidence and belief. I don't think people thought we were going to make it this far. We obviously believed. Came up just a bit short again.
Every group is different. What do you remember about this group?
We became together at the right time, I would say. A lot of difficult circumstances coming down the stretch and injuries and guys fighting through things and guys just coming. We just found a way to get here. Obviously didn't find a way to get enough, but credit to a lot of guys.
You look at the core of this team. You feel like you got to get a few more kicks of this can here. The way that the core of the guys you have on this team.
Yeah, I think so. But, yeah, sure.
The game you had was strong enough to go through the West pretty well, right? You beat good teams out there and you beat them by a game. When it comes up against Florida and you couldn't solve Florida. What should we think about a Florida team that's that much better than the opponents you face getting?
They're a really good team. I said it many times already. Very deserving. I don't know what else to tell you. They were really good. No? Yeah? You don't think?
Have you seen anything specific from your teammates after the game?
Nothing to say, really. Obviously everyone's disappointed.
All right, there you go. That is the captain of the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid, coming off a disappointing game for him, a disappointing game for the team, a disappointing series for the team, and a team that just simply didn't match up against the Florida Panthers.
You don't think?
I don't think they did. A couple of notes. What was the one quote? Trying the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know if that's a shot at the coaching staff.
Sounds like it to me.
But that was interesting. And then he was asked if he thinks they'll get another kick at the can. I think that's what I heard there. Another kick at the can with the same group. And he said, I think so. I think the question was, can you get another kick of the can at this with like the same sort of core?
The core you were talking about.
Yeah, and he said, I think so. So obviously tough last night after, having another chance to try to keep your lifelong dream alive and failing to do so. We'll see at a year-end availability what Connor McDavid has to say.
I found that doing things over, and I think he said bang your head against the wall too. Like that was one of the part of that.
Yeah.
Like I found that pretty. I don't know how much you read into that or whatever, but I found that kind of telling.
I'm not going to read too much into comments immediately following losing the Stanley Cup.
Usually he's a guy that's pretty
Yeah, I mean, the banging your head against the wall, doing the same thing over and over again is a
kind of stuck out.
That's an interesting comment. That's an interesting comment. All right, let's get into the fan zone here for Fans First. It's your time. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. And over on the YouTube today. If you're watching on YouTube today, smash the thumbs up for us. It's been a hell of a playoff run here at Edmonton Sports Talk. And we've got the play-by-play, live play-by-play of the Riverhawks and the Stingers. I know our entire staff is fired up for the Elks game tomorrow as well. We'll be at the tailgate tomorrow night. And then, as far as Oilers content goes, we talk about it all summer long. But over the next little while here, we're going to have year-end availabilities.
What is this?
We're going to have the draft. We're going to have, not that they have a bunch going on at the draft, but maybe there's a trade that they can work out at the draft.
It's the draft.
Then there's free agency. So the next 3 weeks for the Edmonton Oilers are going to be extremely critical. So we'll have you covered right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Because there's a lot of sports to talk about. All right, let's get into the fan zone for fansfirst.ca. It's the world is your oyster. We want to hear your thoughts. Jason is in, and I'm just going to hammer some text messages here. The YouTube chat's moving very quickly. I don't know how much I'll be able to dive over there, but that's what I love about Edmonton Sports Talk compared to the old place. The conversation that fans can have with them, with the other fans, we just couldn't do that at 1260 back in the day. So I know that chat can get pretty nasty at times. So try to be kind to each other. But as far as hockey opinions go, hit it. Let's go. Keep that chat moving. And we're 40 likes away from changing 200 here in the 6 o'clock hour. So hammer the thumbs up for us there. Jason says, going into the finals, I'm shocked that we lost worse than last year. Got totally dominated. RBM is in and says, that was an interesting comment from Connor on banging your head. I wonder if they even get frustrated with how many times the coach says, Connor with Leon. It's the coach that would make that call. 780-218-9999. Timber Woodsman just says the Panthers knew how to play the Edmonton Oilers. JR from Calgary says, hey, gents, no excuses for the Oilers. The one thing I would love to see is the referees do post-game interviews with media and translate the game the way they saw it. Cheers. Yeah, that'll never happen. I understand what you're saying, but they will never, ever, ever do that in the history of the National Hockey League. The Wolf is in and says, I'm starting my morning safety meeting with this today. Good morning, boys. All I have now is to look forward to is the EST Golf Classic. I just got to finish my 41 days of work in a row first, though. God, that's gross. Mark from Hope says, Mark, the Hope ID guy, guys, I had my first 4-pack of your 6 o'clocker lager. Excellent beer. Helped soothe my sorrows for the Oilers' loss. Can I get a conch for my wife and I celebrating our 9th anniversary today? Why not? I love that.
And good text as well in the golf tournament.
Yeah.
Something now to.
Well, we've got a lot going on this summer.
Yeah, put it into your, there are lots of things this summer that you can kind of look forward to week by week. And
next month, Nasty Bash, or Golf Classic, August Nasty Bash, Estes in September. We got some exciting news around here yesterday that we'll pass along to everybody in the near future. So that's good as well. We got this Mexico trip that you can come with us on. Well, yeah, not everybody, but lots of you. Stan, the Jets fan, is in. Only a Jets fan would say something as ridiculous as this morning. Stuart Skinner is the best $2.6 million goalie in the cap era. He literally gives you a $4 million forward elsewhere. Don't overreact. You can't teach size in net. Oh boy, Stan the Jets fan. I don't know if you come to the right place for that one. Bumbo, I see your text on the Calgary Stampeders. I love it, but not today. We'll have a lot of CFL talk moving forward. Shovelhead is in and says, here's a positive. At least Edmonton doesn't riot after losing. Looking at you, Vancouver. James from Victoria says the big moment when Bobrovsky stonewalled the Oilers' push in the first 4 minutes.
Well, they had those 2-2-on-1s, eh? And Perry couldn't connect on one. I think they're...
I mean, I don't know if I'd call the saves on Skinner and Kane really a stonewalling, but he made those saves. He made the saves. I mean, the guy's a Hall of Famer. It's not. We shouldn't be surprised that Sergei Bobrovsky was absolutely awesome. And he was. Again. Dex is in and says, am I an idiot? And we're in the fan zone right now. Let's go. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Quick look over to the nasty chat. I see Dan S. saying, bars are already open in Winnipeg? Because that's funny. Dex says, am I an idiot for being mad that we didn't go down with all healthy D-men instead of broken-ass Ekholm? I get it. He's a stud, etc. But he couldn't move. That's an interesting conversation that we'll have for the next few days, I would think, as well. The Combe Drew is in and says, what hurts more than the Oilers losing is a terrible market like Florida enjoying these kinds of riches. Now, alligator skin folks who still don't know what an icing is will act like they own our sport while we're here yelling, who the hell are you all of a sudden? Yeah.
Well, nobody owns anything. I mean, half the markets in the NHL are rather niche, but you need a league.
Yeah.
So that's just how it works. It's the same as the CFL. The Argonauts win a Grey Cup or whatever it is. The BC Lions. Okay, well, I would wager that not as many people care in those markets than some others. I mean,
as far as the hardcore prairie markets,
Saskatchewan here, but you need that to have a league. And
Eric, enough of the CFL talk.
I apologize. That's my quota for the week.
Triple J, Bumblebee Tuna, boys. Look at Triple J using a Bumblebee Tuna. I was fortunate as a kid to witness the Oilers dynasty in the 80s, so I feel for the fans that haven't. But I'm sorry, this team is simply not winning a cup with this ownership. I guess here's to another conference championship next year, because we ain't beating the Panthers the way that we are currently constructed. Jay, you are right on you're not beating Florida with the way you're currently constructed. I think you can beat a lot of the other teams in the league, everybody in the West with the current construction. They just proved that, but I do think there needs to be some construction changes, I guess, if you want to lay it like that. Blair is in and says, boys, darkest before the dawn. It's truly a game of inches when it comes to building a winner. Florida is running a master class right now, but 4 years ago, they were Tampa Bay's little bitch. Oilers can learn and make the subtle moves. Those said moves will create fan uneasiness as fans don't like losing, but even moreover are afraid of change. Third line with a physical edge and offensive punch required. A real right-handed D-man with shutdown skills. And yes, the elephant in the room, upgrade in goal. That's in from Blair this morning.
Do you trust the current management to do all of that? That is the question. And again, I said with the Panthers, like Zito, the analytics, they do things there in a uniform fashion that is obviously working. It's easy to say here what the Oilers need to do, but can they do it? Will they do it? Do they have the people in charge to do it all? I don't know. That'll remain to be seen. But
I mean, I don't know.
No, I get it. I'm not looking for an answer.
The thing here is that this management group is so new to this organization that nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Jeff Jackson went through free agency without a GM last year, just working with himself and the rest of the staff. Then they brought in a GM.
And we've even talked around here that the GM doesn't have his coach.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't know how you would change a coach who's gone to back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals, but I think Reed did make a valid point last night that Knobloch isn't Bowman's guy.
That's what I'm saying.
But he was Jeff Jackson's guy.
Yes, and Connor's guy.
So I think that's probably getting run back. I'd be a little... be a little surprised.
What happens? What do they call it when you keep repeating the same thing over and over again? And it's Banging your head against.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
That's insanity. I do think that there's a ton of blame to go around, including with us. And by us, I mean like everybody. And I'll take my part in this blame. I cut my hair. Was it before the series? I think it was before the series because then they still won game 1. But last night, Marshall had a hockey game and I was there and a bunch of the parents were like, you cut your hair. You're the reason. You're the reason the Oilers lost. What did you do? What did you do that caused the Oilers to lose? Was there something you did, or are you completely blame free?
Existing, I guess.
If
I wasn't in this timeline, probably they win.
Trev moved to a new house.
Yeah,
mid playoffs. Who moves to a new house mid playoffs? Right, Trev? Would that be your blame?
No, I don't know what my blame is. I did everything as routine yesterday as I possibly could. I watched it in my basement.
You did by yourself.
I had so many people ask to hang and go out, and I said no to every single one. And I regret it. Maybe I should have. Maybe that would have changed it. I don't know.
I think being alone last night, though, was probably...
It was
Same
for
with
the
Patty
best.
from the brew house. He said, I'm staying.
He's just staying home.
Win or loss, he said he was going to be emotional. Exactly.
By me. I was a wreck.
Bill, the teacher's in this morning. Anyway, how are you blaming yourself for this loss? 780-218-9999. Bill, the teacher, says, good morning, gents. After hearing Karna's comments last night, saying that they just kept doing the same thing, bashing their heads against the wall, this leads to my question. Is it A, they are too stubborn to change their game plan, B, they are not smart enough to change their game plan, or C, the coach wasn't able to come up with a game plan for them to implement? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. That's an interesting question, Bill, the teacher.
That's why he's a teacher.
Are they too stubborn to change their game plan? I sure hope not. Are they not smart enough to change their game plan? That can't. I mean, that can't be the case. I think it might be the coach wasn't able to come up with a game plan for them to implement.
Yeah, you can't be stubborn if you don't have another
I think,
game plan to implement.
Yeah, but I think part of that is you can come up with a game plan to beat other teams. Nobody came up with a game plan to beat the Florida Panthers. You know, like
right.
This comes back around to, I think, congratulations, Florida. You're incredible.
And the Pomo?
Well, I mean,
I know. He's
annoying as hell, but he's a pretty good. He's a pretty damn good coach.
This is 2 now in a row.
But he also has a ridiculous roster in front of him.
Sure, yes.
Like this team added Brad Marchand to their third line, and when Ekblad ended up having to be suspended for steroids, they went out and got Jones. Like it's an incredibly deep roster. 780-218-9999. Haas is in and says, I had nothing to do with it. They're professional players in management and they failed. I just like watching them play and apparently getting disappointed. This one, I think this is a good way to wrap up the 6 o'clock hour because I was thinking about this. I don't know if it was last night when I was doing some prep or on the way in this morning, but I was thinking about this for the last little while. Year 11 of McDavid, and the team still has the same holes that it had in 2016. The Oilers are never winning. And, after watching the postgame show last night and then seeing Twitter and obviously our chat this morning and the text line this morning, it's an interesting conversation.
It's
because
9 years.
Well, like last night I saw, what did I see pop up on Twitter? They need to address their goaltending. They need another top 6 forward or 2. And they need some improved defenders. They need a stalwart defensive right shot D-man and some changes in the bottom 6. Like this is the same thing over and over and over again. And that, I guess, is a little bit concerning. Jeff Jackson and Bowman are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to fix this, to take it from a conference championship club to a Stanley Cup championship club. It's on them. They failed this year to do that. Will they be able to get it done over the next 3 weeks or so? And then there's obviously bigger contract discussions to be had around the extension of McDavid and Evan Bouchard and all those things. And we'll get to that over the next 2 to 3 weeks. But thank you very much for riding us here in Edmonton Sports Talk. I will say this was a fabulous run for us and all of you listening and watching.
Local businesses.
There was a ton of fun. It was great for the community. I know it ends in heartbreak, but be happy for the times that we had, I guess. Say that. All right, Craig Button's going to join us for Pro-Am Sports. I'm sure the last 2 months at Pro-Am was awesome, and they've got a ton of stuff. So if you want to go and continue to support the club, you can do it over at Pro-Am. We'll have more on that as well. On the way next, Craig Button's going to join us. We will get his thoughts. Beef Nip says, guys, do all CFL teams have their own planes? Montreal plane just landed at the airport, and it looks pretty cool with all the decals. There's a few planes that they'll use around the league to get the road teams where they need to go. But yeah, the ones with the CFL logos on it are kind of cool. I want to ride on one of those one day.
Well, you have a Nexus card. I'm sure it'll get you.
Probably. I mean, that's a
CFL
good
plane.
point.
Bam.
Excuse me, I'm going to get on that CFL plane.
Right this way, sir. Oh, you didn't know why.
Thank you. Yeah, that was good. All right, Craig Button is on the way next. We'll get Craig's thoughts on how much of this series was on the Oilers and how much of it was just the Florida Panthers are just too damn good. We'll get into that with Craig Button coming up. Macramalla on this whole Panthers dynasty thing. What more could they do? We'll get into that a little bit. Free advice for Damon Bunting. Some of you must need help with something today. After this playoff run, some of you must need help with something. We'll get to that. Play Alberta early bird bet of the day as well. A conch for all of you 6 o'clockers all the time. I mean, playoff run's great, but we're here every single day talking sports. And 6 o'clockers, I know you're heartbroken today, so a conch for you. All right, old Seabutts is on the way next. Let's get to a sports update right now for Chelsea over at Expedia Cruises in Northeast Edmonton, where, hey, what better way to cheer yourself up than put $350 deposit down on a 7-night trip to Mexico
today
with this guy and me, February 22nd.
You can bury me in the sand.
I can't wait to bury you in the sand.
Yeah, everybody's going to.
I'm going to bring a small little bucket and a shovel to bury you in the sand.
Hey, you don't want to do it too fast. You want to enjoy it.
Yeah, just a small little shovel. It's going to take 2-3 hours
That's
to bury
fine,
you
yeah.
in the sand. Yeah. You'll be calling Chelsea at this number. Rick's got that, but here's the update.
Sam Bennett gets the Conn Smythe while Sam Reinhart notched 4 goals as the Panthers win their second straight Cup final over the Oilers 5-1, taking the series in 6. The NHL draft will go June 27th from LA, while free agency window opens July 1st. The Toronto Blue Jays, Dante Bichette, Addison Barger walking off of the Diamondbacks 5-4 to take the opener of that 3-game set from Toronto. Game 2 tonight, first pitch, 5:07. The Jays 39-33, now 3 games back of the division-leading Yankees. Closer to home, the Riverhawks fall to 7-6 on the season as they drop the opener to the Bellingham Bells 7-1 from Remax. Game 2 of that 3-game set goes tonight as it's Running of the Gingers. People with red hair will get 50% off admission at the box office. It's also a game you can hear live on ESD. Our coverage begins at 7:05. Cactus Rats, they improved to 6-9 on the season with a 7-2 win out in Weyburn over the Beavers. Game 2 of that 2-game set goes tonight, 7:05. And on the pitch, Tajon Buchanan with 2 goals as Canada opened group stage at the Gold Cup with a 6-0 win over Honduras from BC Place. Match day 2 will see Canada take on Curaçao Saturday night from Houston. Whether you're dreaming of crystal clear waters or exotic destinations, contact Chelsea LaBelle at Expedia Cruises in Northeast Edmonton to start planning your next cruise or vacation destination. Call 780-970-4834.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Tati and Eric and all of the bad cats like Washinsky and Noodles. Captain can gauge it. Maybe it's fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramalla, Rapapo, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tails of the north. All the fucking human person, Dusty go for. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, as of this morning, there is nothing that you can do about it. Nielson Show songs are brought to you by Totem Outdoor Outfitters. You can win an Oilers jersey right now with their skate sharpening program that they've got in place. It's new gear, used gear, trading, consign, a sport for every season with hockey equipment and skates ready to go year round. Win an Oilers jersey. If you buy a punch card, you get an entry into that draw. You finish a skate sharpening punch card, you get an entry into the draw for that Oilers jersey. Not only are their sharpens the best in the city, they are also the cheapest in town. A family store that takes pride in finding the right fit for you. Visit them at 7430 99th Street or online at www.totemoutfitters.ca. Trev, let me know when Button's good to go. He's good to go? Oh, he's not. Okay, yeah, let me know when he's good to go. We will have your Play Alberta early bird bet of the day. That's a good coming up as well.
That's going to be a tough one today.
Actually, no, I have something for it. Yeah.
Is it what we... Oh, okay.
No, it's not that. No.
Selfishly, you could have went that way.
For that. No, I...
Oh, no, I'm talking about your little mention that you...
Oh, no, I'm saving that.
Okay.
I don't want that to get lost in today.
Okay.
I'm saving that for Fridays. Is that not a Friday show thing? It just seems like a Friday show thing to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something amazing happened yesterday to me, and I don't want it to get lost in all the doom and gloom of today's show. But is that not cool?
You may have reached your... I don't know where you go from here. I really don't. I don't know.
I don't.
You can't name something.
I don't know where to go after what happened last night. I've got it recorded on my phone, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing ever." So we'll get to that. Some of
what did Tammy call it? Cute?
Yeah, she says, "Oh, that's cute," and it was.
Very adorable.
Yeah. Anyway, you can try to guess what it was. Some of you may know. I know one person yesterday did in the chat or in the text line was just like, and I didn't even understand what he was saying at the time. But so somebody saw it yesterday. Anyway, we'll get to that. But I have something else from that's good, which is it's really funny. So we'll get to that as well. Play Alberta early bird bet of the day. Back to the Blue Jays we go. I guess we'll find out what we're gonna do over at Play Alberta today. Took a pretty big hit on that game last night, but the account still has some fun.
Somebody texted earlier, and I'm never gonna be able to find it, but. Dusty's Play Alberta account. I'm hit.
My account,
which was pretty.
That was a time. Look, the account still has some funds in it. I was somewhat responsible last night by not putting like my entire account on some of the specials that we had last night. But yeah, it's still. I mean, I would have been in a really nice spot if the Oilers could have delivered on a few of those parlays last night. But they did not. Is Button still not? Is he still not connected? Did you send him the link? All right, let me fire him a text. He's usually pretty on point. I'm gonna say link sent. We'll get him on here. Hopefully he's okay. So Play Alberta early bet of the day coming up. Free advice for Damon Bunting, and then legal analyst Eric Macramalla is gonna pop by as well. We'll get his thoughts on how sustainable could this be for the Florida Panthers. Like, are they going to be the team to beat again next year, and then the following year, and then the year after that? I really thought when the Leafs took them to 7 that they were beatable. Turns out I was maybe the Leafs are better than I thought they were, or maybe the Panthers just know how to beat.
I like we all like to hate on the Leafs. I get it, but yeah, they're not a bad team either.
No, you're right. I mean, they're not.
I mean, and yes, probably the Oilers matched up against them a lot more better.
Yeah.
But
what are you going to do?
No harm in losing to the Panthers here in this circumstance where you look at how the league is stacked. It's the two of them. It sucks when you're in a window, though,
yeah, it does.
And you run the West, easily the best team in the West through the tournament. I mean, not standings-wise during the season, but where did the Panthers finish again, right? So, and you look at all the other teams out in the East. I mean, are the Oilers beating the Capitals in a Cup final? Are they beating the Hurricanes?
I think the Oilers beat any other team in the league in a Cup final except for Florida Panthers.
This one. So it sucks when you're in a window, and timing in sports, there's that one thorn.
Okay, so can I? People aren't going to like this comparison, but the last 2 years with Connor McDavid is LeBron versus the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. Like, it didn't matter what you
That's
do
what I'm saying, yeah.
or how good you were, you weren't beating those teams.
And any other time in history, you arrive at this point and you are.
You're beating whoever.
Everybody. Yeah.
But the Florida Panthers are just that team, man. They're just that good. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Yeah, Button said he'll join at 7:05. I'm worried about Craig now. Craig's usually really, really tight on time. We'll get to. We're hoping to get to Craig Button for Pro-Am Sports and get his thoughts on this entire thing as well. Lawrence Fraser over in the chat, and if you're watching on YouTube today, smash the thumbs up for us. Sub to our channel if you haven't already. We've got a great summer of Oilers offseason discussion, CFL, Edmonton Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers. A lot of great EST events that we've got going on as well. Trev, changing 200. Hammer that for us.
Changing 200.
All right, let's change 300 here by 7:30. Easy peasy. Hammer the thumbs up for the boys today. That would be great. Lawrence Fraser says, guys, I think Bennett, Marchand, and Ekblad would be crazy to leave South Florida. I agree.
Yes, and
I agree.
Yeah, when you're in a band like that and you're playing all the hits and getting platinum records and whatever, like that's why would you? Tax be damned.
Rashog just texted me, said he could hop on over the phone. I mean, we could bring in Shoggy. I just
look at Shoggy flexing.
Where the hell is Button?
We're more concerned.
I'm more concerned about Button than I'm like, oh, good, Rashog.
No.
But like, I would like to talk to Shoggy.
We just want
too.
to make sure Craig's.
But I don't know where Button is. Trev, you got Rashog's number? Yeah, maybe let's. I don't. I'll say, give us a
Big
second.
Maple says Button is just leaving the elbow room.
Yeah, anyway, Shoggy says he's in the hotel. He can hop on the phone here from TSN and the Got Your Back podcast. We'll sort that out. We'll get either Button on video or Rashog on the phone right now. Give Rashog a call and we can take Rashog for like 6 or 7 minutes, and then if Button connects, we can wrap with Shoggy and then go to Craig here in this hour as well. But I mean, back to what Lawrence Fraser said. I mean, if you like, and this would not be. I'm going to make this. I don't want this conversation to be about the whole tax thing because small benefit, whatever. But what I want to say is, if you're those three guys, and you love your life down there, would you take just less money? Like, would you take a hometown discount to stay with that team and maybe take a run at another Stanley Cup or 2 more Stanley Cups in the next 3-4 years? If you're Ekblad, if you're Marchand, I mean, why would you go anywhere else outside of Florida unless you like desperately want to go back to Boston for some reason, which I don't necessarily think would be the case. So yeah, I mean, maybe they can keep all 3 of them. And if they do, I mean, even if they don't, they're still going to be a really, 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 really good team. But if they do, I mean, they're setting things up very, very nicely. 780-218-9999. And then over in the chat as well.
Morgan, 4 years in a row losing to the champs. Is that?
No, that is right.
It is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Oilers have lost the eventual Stanley Cup champion 4 years in a row. Well, you know what they say about bridesmaids? They always get drunk at the wedding and hook up with somebody.
Constantly catching the bouquet or missing the bouquet or something.
All right, hit a few more text messages there. I'm just going to get this set up with Shog here.
Joel says LMFAO.
Yeah, I think too, Trevor. I think that's it. Did you
Oilers didn't circumvent the cap correctly. Florida did, brought in the right guys, and the Oilers didn't. That comes in from Drew.
So I didn't want to use the whole. Well, I know I didn't want to. Somebody on Twitter last night was just like, they were playing with like $99 million of guys in the roster.
What's the figure? The last how many champions have been over the cap or something like that?
I mean, that's how they do this.
If you want to win, you got to.
Yeah.
Pat in the county guesses that you were followed by Nick Cage on X. Great guess.
No, but that would be amazing.
That might be something
I
that
would
could
say
take
this,
you higher.
Even better. That's even better than Nick Cage. Now, Nick Cage follow me on Twitter would be insane.
Sure, but this is...
But I feel like Nick Cage is about 5 years away from following me on Twitter anyway. This was way bigger, and I'll be extremely excited when we talk about it on Friday. I couldn't bring joy to the show today when everybody else is so sad. What? No answer? He's texting me right now. Let's see here. That doesn't make. Yeah, that's the right number. Try him again.
Leave a message.
Hi. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
he got him. Right when you said leave a message, I thought he was. He goes, "Hey, Shaggy, it's you two.
Kindly call us back on
how you
the
doing?
private line."
Yeah. All right. They're going to bring on Ryan Rashog here. I'm very worried about Button, though. I don't know where the heck Button is. He said he was going to pop on as well. And you know what? If Button does reconnect with us, we'll jam him into the second hour of the show today as well. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can text us. The inbox is obviously hopping today. And over on YouTube, smash the thumbs up as well. All right, we do believe we have Ryan Rashog from TSN and the Got Your Back podcast. Shoggy, you there, buddy?
Oh,
yep.
You guys got me?
Yeah, we got you. We got
breaking up a little there, buddy.
Yeah.
Breaking up. Let's see if it steadies out here.
Yeah, no, you sound
great.
You sound good to us. You sound good to us. So that's good. All right, man. I mean, where did you guys start last night? Where did you start on this thing? Because we came in this morning and basically said, there's a lot to discuss in the Oilers, but the Florida Panthers are an incredible hockey team. How do you approach the Game 6 loss, Shoggy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm in those post-game scrums, and the common theme is the Oilers are kind of tipping their cap to an unreal team. Like, that felt different. Those interviews felt different. And I know it was the first time they lost the Stanley Cup last year, so that's going to hit different, right? It's Game 7. It's different. But this year, I sensed that these players all knew how good that Florida team was. I mean, Connor McDavid was just... When Connor McDavid says we're banging our heads up against a brick wall, you're doing the same thing over and over again. Like, McDavid finds answers, right? That's why he's great. And the greatest in the game didn't have answers for what the Panthers were doing. So I really do think that as a group, they might feel different about this one. 20 years down the road, when Connor McDavid looks back on this, he'll be going, that Panthers team was unbelievable. That might have been one of the best teams we ever played against.
Yeah, I mean, I think this team that we just saw with the Florida Panthers is one of the best Stanley Cup champions we've seen in quite some time.
I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, Shoggy, and I can say the same about the Kansas City Chiefs right now. If they're not in their way, what could have happened? Over the last couple of...
It's a good point. Shoggy, as far as last night's game goes, I didn't mind the first 3 to 4 minutes. Like, I thought they had some jump, they had some chances, and then a horrible turnover, and Reinhart buries it, and all of a sudden you're like, damn it, now you've got this uphill climb against a team that, you managed to do it a couple times, but asking to do it a third time just is too much. What did you think of the start last night and the fact that, the big boys were on for the 2 goals against?
Yeah, well, I mean, I really liked the start, and one of the things we'd been talking about for the 2 days in between games was the Oilers needing to find a way to start the game better. Right. And then the other thing we were talking about is what's Chris Knobloch going to do to try and get his team off to a better start? Who's coming in? What will the lines look like? I mean, we all talked about it. And so they start the game in these formations, and they got off to a really good start. First 3 lines rolled really well. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 shifts that they got in, and it was going good. And Bobrovsky, I remember saying to Mark Masters next to me, I'm like, Bobrovsky just looks a little, remember, a couple of bobbles.
You're right.
And it just sort of felt like, okay. And then Chris Knobloch changed all his lines. Like, and I asked him post-game, I'm not blaming the line change, because it's not the line change that creates, the defenseman to make some mistakes. And it's not the line change that causes McDavid not to pick up a guy in the middle of the ice to overcommit on a back check. But my point is the line between a great start versus, not is so fine. I just don't know why they didn't stay with it. Like, just your lines look good. Roll them over again. See if you can get a few good shifts out of everybody. Your bench is going. You're off to a good start. They had pre-planned that switch. And Knoblauch told me that after the game. They had planned all along to make an early switch to McDavid and Draisaitl. And I felt like you're off to a good start finally. Just roll it.
Yep.
And they make the switch. They get scored on immediately. Well, now you're behind. And he admitted, it's like, well, now you're kind of chasing it. So you got to stay that way. So they stay that way. And then boom, they get scored on again. Like, it just, and again, I'm not blaming Knoblauch. He normally has great touch in these situations. I just remember thinking, like, oh, why? When I saw those guys go on the ice together, I went, why is he doing that already? Like, your lines are going here. So I don't know. Tough mistakes early. You get chasing and you're just not catching that team.
I was stunned. I'm with you on that because I was watching our postgame show last night and it was, the guys were talking about, you kind of went to him too early after the goal. And I was like, no, they were on the ice for the goal.
Before the goal.
They started, they had a really good start and then he mixed up the lines. Yeah. It was kind of bizarre to me. McDavid last night talking about, banging your head against the wall and doing the same thing over and over again. How much do you read into that comment and who would that reflect on?
I think it reflects on, I don't think that's a shot at him, at the staff.
Yeah.
I don't think that's him saying this coaching staff didn't find the answers that we needed to break through. And I know some might want to interpret it that way, but I don't view that. I mean, McDavid is far too accountable. In a moment like that, he's not going to be looking for other people to blame. I think, banging their head against the wall, I think that has to do with just having no time and space. And so you just got to keep dumping pucks in, and then you're not the first one there. And then they've always got an answer. They were better at outlets. They were better at relieving pressure in their own end. They were better at support. And you took two of the best offensive players in the world and turned it into a dump and chase game. And they just executed it really well. So I think that's probably what Connor's talking about, is just continuing to have to turn pucks over to try and go get it back and not getting it back, and them doing a better job. And now you're back checking, and then you're defending, and you're chasing pucks around in your own end, and they always seem to be there first. I mean, that had to feel pretty frustrating. And it was game after game of it. Like, it was the same story multiple games in a row. So, if there was some magic answer, and if there are coaches out there that are sitting there going, they never did this. This is what you do when a team is doing that to you. If that answer exists, this staff never found it, because the narrative and the flow of play never changed once it really tilted Florida's way in this series, and they figured out how to do that. The Oilers had some looks and some spurts, but the core game never changed once it tilted Florida's way.
Hey, Ryan, it's Eric here. Thanks again for hopping on and joining us this morning. Appreciate that. I just wanted to throw this one your way, too, and I just want to get your thought on the gap between these two. Some people saying the Oilers were better this year. Some would maybe argue it against, but the Panthers, I think, were better as well. We had the interesting question earlier that if you just, obviously we're into the offseason now and we're talking about goaltenders, and if you flip the goalies in this series or Hyman was thrown into the equation, what is the gap, do you think, if those things happened? Or was it still, the Oilers had 2 victories in this series, albeit in overtimes, though. So where do you kind of see the gap if Hyman was in, or if the Oilers had a Bobrovsky type of goaltender? Is it really coming a little closer, or is there still a widening gap between the two?
Oh, no, it's not. It's not a crazy wide gap. The Oilers steamrolled the West. They took out some good teams on their way. It's not like Florida's a 10 out of 10 and the Oilers are a 7. This is a 9, 9.5, and a 10, and the margin between those two. An overtime goal flips in either direction earlier in that series. You talk about flipping goalies in imaginary land. I don't know. The Oilers, if the Oilers get the goaltending performance the Panthers did, I don't know, probably have a better chance of winning the series, probably win the series. If Zach Hyman is available, in some of those games where they were needing momentum shifts and better starts, like the physicality came out of the Oilers game, right? That stopped being something that they kind of hung their hat on, was just, line after line, just finishing checks and being physical and wearing them down, right? The investment in wearing them down stopped basically when things got stupid in game 3. I mean, that was it after that. So yeah, I mean, they're very, very close. I mean, the series, even with it the way it was right now, you know, if you have an entirely healthy Ekholm and Zach Hyman, there's not a lot between these two teams, I wohad say, you know, but that's not the case. Both sides are dealing with injuries. Like Matthew Tkachuk was not playing healthy either. And, you know, both sides had injuries that they were dealing with. It's not a huge gap, though, to answer your question. I don't believe it is. It's, you know, the answer's in the margins, and the Panthers, they play a style, man, where, like, was I talking to Struds last night, and I just feel like they have a lot of really high IQ players. They got a lot of high IQ players. There's not a lot of blunt objects on that team, where guys that are just, you know, fast but not great hockey sense. They're smart players, and they execute that game plan well. They support each other really well. They know how to win. They're intelligent. They know how to start. They're in command of their game. And the Oilers haven't been in command of their game, not against the Florida Panthers.
Shoggy, let's wrap with this. And usually when a team gets eliminated, we're like, oh, lots of time to talk about it leading up to the offseason. But the next 3 weeks here are critical for this team. What do you think has to be priority number one for Jackson and Bowman?
Well, I mean, you've got a little bit of time here before you can get into the nitty gritty with Connor McDavid, but I mean, he's the franchise player. So I think, you know, priority is to make sure you get as long a contract as you can done with Connor McDavid, as long as you can. I mean, that's everything to the franchise, so that there's nothing comes close. I believe it'll get done. I don't see a reason why it won't. Just, it's a matter of, you know, how many years.
Yeah.
You know, his agent is Judd Moldaver, and they've done Austin Matthews and gone shorter, you know, so clearly there's some belief in that model. But that's priority number one. I think priority number two is probably figuring out what the dollar figure is on Evan Bouchard, and how long that deal is, what that dollar figure looks like. I think, you know, I was talking the other day. I mean, I think the Oilers would be happy with anything less than $11 million. You know, I think they would feel, I mean, this talk that we had all year long about, is Evan Bouchard a $10 million defenseman? I mean, this market's just going to demand that. So, you know, brace yourself, Oiler fan, for it to be 10 plus. So I think that's right there. And then you got to make some decisions on the goaltending, like you do. You need to figure out, how to upgrade yourself at the position without potentially jettisoning a young, still developing starting goaltender who's made it to 2 Stanley Cup Finals. You know, how do you upgrade without throwing the baby out with the bathwater here? Is Stu Skinner still developing? Is he still getting better? Is he what he's going to be? Like, they got some pretty fundamental core decisions to make on the goaltending situation and what the next steps are.
Shoggy, as always, man, great stuff. Thanks for hopping in today, and safe travels on the way home, buddy.
Yeah, sounds great, guys. Look forward to chatting in the coming weeks here.
Yep, for sure. We'll chat with you on Monday. That's Ryan Rashog from the Got Your Back podcast and TSN down there covering the series. I mean, I think the one thing where people might be a little cringy was the be happy with anything less than 11. Like, Shoggy's right, but I'm just saying that's a reality check.
Speaking from the
that's
market,
a reality check for people, I guess, that if Bouchard comes in at 10.5, the Oilers would be happy with it. So.
I think I saw Tony in the Paris Jewelers inbox a little earlier. So
was he in there earlier?
It's going out to you, Tone.
Well, he just passed out when he heard what Rashog said there. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can get in here. If you're watching over on YouTube today, smash the thumbs up for us, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and of course you can text us anytime at 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999, and we'll get to a few more of those text messages. We continue to work our way through the show. Very unlike Button to not show up, though, and not a text or anything. I'm gonna have to be checking in on Button, like just a wellness check. Like, where are you, Craig? I'm very worried about you.
We have to take that hat back. I mean,
I'm gonna fire a text. Craig, can you please send your EST hat back to?
I'm just saying.
If we track down Button, of course, he will be for our partners over at Pro Am Sports. I do want to give the Cooks and Boys a plug. I know it's been a few busy months for them in good ways because everybody's been buying up Oilers stuff. But our Hockey Insiders are usually brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. Have Pro-Am custom frame that jersey you have in the closet or the photo that you still got in the box. Visit them in store to get started on your project. Located in Edmonton at the corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, or online at proamsports.ca. And once again, if Button does get back to us, we'll try to jam in him in here as well. Macramalla will join us, and we'll just get his thoughts on the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers and what they've managed to build there. And it's a pretty damn impressive team that they've put together, and they're full marks for this victory. We do have that free advice segment coming up for Damon Bunting, which we can transition into. What advice are you looking for to make this team better?
Yeah.
Or what advice you need coming up. I know some of you have probably been slacking on work, probably may have no sleep over the last 2 months. If you need help with something, we're dishing out some free advice next. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can chime in. We've got a few of those text messages coming up right now. Let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric.
Sam Reinhart scored 4 goals as Sam Bennett was awarded the Conn Smythe, leading the playoffs with 15 as the Panthers win their second straight Stanley Cup over the Oilers. 5-1 your final as they take the series in 6. NHL draft will go June 27th down in LA, while the free agency window will crack open July 1. Dante Bichette and Addison Barger walked it off with back-to-back homers. The Jays take the opener of their interleague series at the Diamondbacks 5-4. Game 2 tonight, first pitch 5:07. Close at home, the Riverhawks drop a 7-1 decision to the Bellingham Bells from RE/MAX. Riverhawks now 7-6 on the campaign. They're back at it tonight. It's a game you can hear live on EST. First pitch 7:05 as it's running of the Gingers night down at RE/MAX. People with red hair get 50% off admission. Cactus Rats get in the win column last night out in Weyburn, 7-2 over the Beavers. They improved to 6-9. They'll cap that 2-game set later tonight at 7:05. And on the pitch, Tajon Buchanan had 2 as Canada opened group stage play at the Gold Cup with a 6-0 win over Honduras down at BC Place. Match day 2 will see Canada face Curacao Saturday night from Houston. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he guarantees you'll get a better deal at Park Mazda than the Oilers will with Evan Bouchard.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a figure skater. He wears like a white outfit and he does interpretive ice dances to my life's journey.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Good night, golden nights. It's a gentleman's sweet. Good night, golden nights. Kapanen, put you to sleep. You'll never be a winner, 'cause you can't beat Stuart Skinner. Good night, golden nights. Oh, it is so sweet.
That was a good day. I mean, that was a tremendous day. I know you got your weekly rankings of power coming up a little bit later on in the show, but that was one of the highlights of that first Gentleman Show. Come on.
Kootenai Time Tim chimes in the Paris Trullers inbox. 2 read-throughs in a row of Dante Bichette. I've been calling him Dante Bichette, not Bo.
I didn't even realize it.
I'm from that era. Whenever I hear Bichette, I think of Dante Bichette. My bad. Wow.
I wasn't even paying attention. I usually like blank out and I'm doing other stuff.
I was going to save it for the grand finale, but yeah, you got me there, man.
Yeah, that's
hey,
funny.
we're talking hockey.
Nobody cares anyway. Nobody cares anyway. We're going to get to your free advice here coming up for Damon Bunting. More of your reaction to the Oilers obviously losing to the Florida Panthers last night. If you're watching on YouTube, 25 likes away from changing 300. So let's hammer through that as well. We do have to get to it. We're jammed up against it, so we're going to move it to the other side here. The Play Alberta early bird bet of the day. If you've not yet used our code for the month of June, it's EST Sports, all caps, all one word, no spaces, EST Sports. Deposit $20, you get a $50 free bet over at Play Alberta. That's playalberta.ca. Or download the app today. Make sure you always use your game sense when you are playing with Play Alberta. Back to the Blue Jays bandwagon. Now, tomorrow we'll have some CFL that we can get to. NBA Final resumes tomorrow. But tonight we're going Toronto Blue Jays to win, and our boy Barger with a hit. Plus 165.
He doesn't have a dad that used to play that I know of. I don't think.
I don't think so.
Lloyd Barger.
Blue Jays win. Barger.
I'm an idiot.
With a hit. Plus 165. Would have cashed last night, as he did have a homer in the ninth inning last night, as the Blue Jays did come from behind and get the win against the Diamondbacks. They'll go at it again tonight, 5:07. Blue Jays win. Barger hit. Plus 165. Ride with us. Play Alberta is the title sponsor of Edmonton Sports Talk. That was another big thing that came out during the playoff run as well. Our new deal with Play Alberta, and it's going extremely well so far. So we're very excited about that. I know one of the reasons that they wanted to work with us is that we talk so much about the Canadian Football League, and they want to drive betting on the CFL, and we'll be getting into that tomorrow with the Edmonton Elks going up against the Montreal Alouettes. In fact, the Elks are a pretty significant underdog against the best team, I think, in the Canadian Football League right now. It's 6.5. 6.5 right now.
Just? You've seen the Alouettes. This isn't a knock on the Elks. I've only seen them play one game, but you've seen the Alouettes here.
Yeah, the Alouettes are really good. I'm not surprised by the 6.5 number. I think that's right where it should be. We'll have to make the decision tomorrow which side we're going to get on in that one. All right, free advice for Damon Bunting. Buying or selling, Bunting is your guy. Huge Oilers fan. He'll be very disappointed, just like many of you. So if you are so disappointed today that you're sitting there going, you know what? I'm going to sell my house because I've just had enough. I've watched this team lose too many critical games to eventual Stanley Cup winners in this house. I need something new.
I need to move.
I need something fresh. Well, Damon Bunting with the agency, he's been doing this for almost 2 decades. Community-driven, great guy. You cannot go wrong. Check him out, www.damonbunting.com, or on the Instagram handle of Damon Bunting Real Estate. He had a great post on Father's Day over there. He's a down-to-earth. Yes. He's the best.
If you had a dry eye watching that, I would see if you have a soul or not.
This is why Bunting is on my list, my top 5 list of dudes I wish I could become better friends with if I had more time. He's a staple on that list. Bunting's the guy. DamonBunting.com. I'm telling you, even if, I don't want you to waste this time, but even if you're just like lonely, just list your house with no intentions of selling it and just hang out with the guy for a bit.
I don't think he would fault you.
No.
I don't think his time is never wasted, I think, in his
He would understand it.
world.
All right, what do you need help with? 780-218-9999.
Differentiating Dante and Bo Bichette, apparently. Mark the Hope ID guy. Bo, I'm hit. Dante, my son.
Oh, what about Bo? I got a hit.
I can't
Dante,
get over
my son.
I can't get over this.
That's
I can't recover from this. I should just
that is funny. All right, I do like this one. This one, I mean, this could be the entire segment today. This guy's an absolute beauty. He texts and he says, "Hey boys, should I plan to take all of May and June off for work next year to enjoy another run?"
Shoggy in St. Albert is still on his European trip.
He's still on his trip.
He planned it. He knew.
I don't know if I'd take the full 2 months off of work, but I might save some vacation.
Yeah.
I might save some of your vacation days for May and June next year. Are we thinking too much of like they can get back? Like last year, after watching them lose to the Florida Panthers, I came on the show the next morning and said they're going to win the Stanley Cup next year.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that this morning. I did say earlier I still think McDavid and Draisaitl will deliver a cup.
Yeah. But we talked about the core and maybe shaving things and changing things. So
yeah, but
is it still running it back like last year type of feel?
Button says, "I forgot to set my alarm," and he does one of these gifts. I'll say we can take you at 8:15. Hey, why not? We could do that. Forgot to set his alarm. Classic Craig Button. Jimmy Onishi says you can't win with Stuart Skinner in net. Okay, and I'm not even going to debate with you on that right now. But I will say, like, if we look at this team's ability to get back next year again, and maybe win next year, for everybody who does think that Skinner's the main culprit of all of their failures, well, if they do upgrade in net, who's to say they can't? If they get their upgrade in net, then I guess they can win the Stanley Cup. So they can take another run back at it next year again. You know what I'm saying? Like if all of the blemishes, or like most people think the one is just goaltending. So go out. I don't have my homework. I don't know who the list is right now. I don't think there are a lot of upgrade options, but there might be in the right places for the right price. Or at least a different look. If you believe a different look is also, or could also help, that's fine too. But is
that it?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because you went over a laundry list of things that I think it was a texter that said we've been saying the same things. Goaltending was part of that.
Top 6 forward,
but it was a couple other things. Yes,
bottom 6 forwards who can make an impact. In a series like the one we just saw. I think they need to get younger and faster, which is something they were 2 years ago, and they shot themselves in the foot. It's very dangerous when you make your team older and slower.
The youthful hunger thing is another
ingredient. That's what they did, and I think we saw the final stand for that thought process in the Stanley Cup Finals, and it simply wasn't good enough. Button's good for 8:15, Trev, so we'll go to Button around 8:15 today, and I think we'll have Washinsky right after. So, yeah, I mean, my advice to this guy for bunting would be save your vacation, I guess, for next spring, because I think you'll probably need a few days here or there. But like, if you were to just say, we're bringing back the exact same team, but with a different goalie, would you pick them to win the Stanley Cup?
If Ekholm doesn't get hurt and Hyman remains healthy, perhaps.
I say if they had to play this Florida Panthers team again, no. But
because you know the Panthers will do other things as well, right?
The Panthers will find a way.
Or address whatever they need to address. Sailor says, Skinner isn't Bowman's guy. Dave Pagnotta said the Oilers were in on Swayman in the summer. Kane and Skinner were cap-wise. What else would you have to include to get him?
Well, you have to find a taker for Kane. Kane's not just walking. He's got a year left.
Right.
So you have to pay to move out. There's ways to go about it.
Is Kane coming back? Do you
I don't
see
think so.
a reality in which that...
I think Kane and the organization are probably both ready to part ways. But who's like, we'll take him? I don't think there's an answer to that
Sisters
question.
of the poor. I mean,
so
door knocking.
That's the thing where you're also giving up assets then to try to move him. Dean in Medicine Hat with an interesting question here. It's free advice right now, and I guess we're just answering questions. And then I think Macramalla is going to join us. He didn't say he was so rich he was off running around somewhere today. But this is interesting. I think there's been barely any Macramalla intros because everybody's so into the recap of the game.
I saw one.
Yeah, there was one that came in. I can't remember what it was.
I think
saw
you're probably looking at the same one, yes.
Anyway, Dean in Medicine Hat says, do you guys consider the Edmonton core similar to the Toronto core in that it needs a shakeup to win? Dean, this is a very interesting question. Thank you for listening. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk so you're not like the guy I met at the bank yesterday. So this guy, I guess I didn't tell you this. I go into the bank yesterday. I had to get some sort of pre-authorization form for the business.
You told me before.
Well, I told you.
But it makes you just wince. I told you. Like, it just hurts.
I know.
It hurts the nervous system.
I hand him the business debit card. I said, I need this sheet. And I said, I had my ID. And he's like, he goes, God, I miss you guys.
And then you grabbed him by the shirt and pulled him in.
I grabbed him by the shirt and I punched him in the face 4 times. And then I pulled his phone out of his pocket. I downloaded the iHeartRadio app and I said, you won't miss us anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, God, it was like I was a ghost walking in back from the dead.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, like there's like 110,000 people every month who find us on YouTube or on TuneIn and iHeart.
I'm telling you, we need a billboard.
Yeah. we have a billboard. We're going to do something with that in September. Anyway, great guy. Bank manager. He's the manager of the bank. I took his card. I can't remember his name, but he's a CIBC bank manager.
Okay.
Anyway, really nice guy.
Friends in high places.
He's like, I think he thought we were dead. So anyway, if you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, tell your friends how easy it is to connect. And then they too can join in on the fun.
EST legal analyst and someone who ran 5K this morning So when people say it was a hell of a run, they think they're talking about him, Eric Macramalla. I don't know if that was the one you...
Yeah, that was the one I saw.
Nasty. But the core.
I don't... Well, it's such an interesting question because he's not... We're not just comparing Edmonton's core to Toronto's core because Edmonton's core has gotten to multiple Stanley Cup finals now and has lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champion 4 years in a row. But we brought it up earlier. Jackson and Bowman did not bring in Nuge, did not bring in Nurse. I think they'll probably keep Bouchard. McDavid and Draisaitl aren't going anywhere. So when it comes to the core here, it's Nuge or Nurse. That's what we're talking about. Because when you view the Edmonton core, it is McDavid, it is Draisaitl, it is Nuge, it is Nurse, it is Bouchard, and it is Hyman. I guess Ekholm's 35. I mean, he's not a core guy for the next 7-8 years. I think everything has to be up for discussion. Yes, they're a very good team. Yes, they lost to a better team the last 2 years in the final. It's not like they went to a final and you're like, these guys are a significant favorite. There's no way they can lose, and then they blew it. They went to finals against one of the best teams I think we've seen in the NHL over the last decade or so. But, maybe some very difficult things need to be discussed. But then you have to find a dance partner. Like, let's say that Bowman and Jackson, and I know, Nurse is close to the guys and all that stuff. Let's say they just say, I don't care if they're buddies with 97 and 29 and it's time to move Nurse, spend that money somewhere else. You have to find a taker. You have to find a trade somewhere. You have to find somebody who's willing to bring in money like that, or you have to find some way to pass some of the money off somewhere else before moving a guy. Something like it's a lot of those core decisions are much easier said than done. And Toronto's core right now, they have two guys who are unrestricted free agents. So money's gone and there's money to spend on other guys. That's an easier core to shake up right now than the Edmonton core. But I do think there has to be, a legitimate conversation about nothing's off the table despite them being really good. You have to find a way to get over the final hurdle. The final boss is the Florida Panthers. And this year's team looked further away from beating the Florida Panthers than last year's team did. 780-218-9999. Let's bring in Eric Macramalla this morning. We had the one, everybody's just so rattled about the game. Like I say, I don't even have a huge list of Macramalla.
He ran 5K
to get to. What was that one again?
Hell of a run. Big slam nasty.
It was Eric ESC legal analyst and guy who ran 5K this morning.
So when people say that was a hell of a run,
he thinks it was about him.
Yeah.
And it was a hell of a run. Let's find out how he did for Park Mazda. Macramalla, how you doing, buddy?
My man. Oh, I'm doing okay. I mean, I don't know why you're speaking to me on this very sad, dark day. And I know that, look, as a Habs fan, it's been 32 years since we won a cup. If you told me a Canadian team wouldn't win a cup for 30 plus years in 1993, I would have said to you, you're as crazy as Mitch from Park Mazda. And then he would have said, Mitch from Park Mazda is 7 years old at the moment. So he's still not your dealer for life, right? It's insane that no team has.
Do you think it's just one of those things, Macramalla, or is like when people are like Gary Bettman's against Canadian teams and it's hard for Canadian teams to win and it's easier because it's
Gary Bettman's not against Canadian teams.
It's crazy. Like
it's insane, right? It's a number where statistically it definitely gets your attention.
Well, teams have had shots. Like Calgary had a shot, Montreal had a shot, Ottawa had a shot. Vancouver had a shot. Edmonton's had shots.
Others have been a lot of teams have been close. Now, I don't think it has anything to do with Gary Bettman having it in. In fact, Gary Bettman has been a proponent of keeping teams in their incumbent markets, and I think has done a relatively good job. Are there flaws? Of course. I think one significant stumbling block, and it's something that Bill Daly, Deputy Commissioner of the NHL, did not concede, but he's wrong, because I know this for a fact. He was wrong, is that the tax situation in a number of these markets, like in Texas, like in Florida, are favorable. When Florida teams go out and try and sign free agents, you know what page 1 on their handout is? It's taxes. That's page 1. So you come here, and here's the thing: so I've got a professional corporation. right? So my corporation gets paid. I do that to avoid the insane amount of taxes. But effectively, all I'm doing is deferring paying those taxes. And if I need money now and I pull it out, it gets taxed at the higher rate. Everybody wants their money now. They want their money now. They don't want it in a tax shelter. So this whole notion that, well, you play in Canada, Alberta's got a more favorable tax situation, though. But you play in Canada and Quebec, Ontario, tantamount to California, which has a similar tax rate. You're not getting your money now. Players want their money now. They want it now. And the cost of living, believe it or not, live in Florida, the cost of homes in Canada is insane. It's not like that in the U.S. So this whole notion that's not doesn't confer an advantage is simply wrong, and it's not genuine. Okay, so admit it. It's okay to admit stuff, and then to try and deal without changing the rules. You're smiling. I don't know. Am I wrong?
I'm smiling because I'm very happy you brought this up. Because I've been talking about it for 3 weeks, and there's been people coming back at me saying it's not that much of a legitimate advantage. And I mean,
it's millions of dollars for top players.
I just want to make it clear to people that I didn't even ask the question. It was Macramalla who brought it up. And what did you just say? It's millions of dollars for top players?
Yeah, if you look at a guy like Austin Matthews, I've done the math. It's a couple of million US, which is 4.7 billion. Oh, Eric, well, the value of the dollar in Canada. Yeah, because you're paid in U.S. dollars, but the cost of living in Canada is disproportionately higher than it is in the U.S. On top of that, you have to understand just human nature. Like, I live it now every day. It's like you want your money now, and you want your money as tax-free as possible. So if you're Brad Marchand and you're telling the media that, yeah, taxes make a difference, then listen to that. Listen to it. This, to me, is an IQ test. Life presents daily IQ tests that are pretty easy to figure out. This is one of them. And if you're someone saying it doesn't make a difference, you're wrong, because the answer to all your questions is money. Yeah, look, there are some players that will sign in Canadian markets because they're being offered more money, right? And they're the type of player where that kind of makes sense. But when it comes to the best players in the world, they're more likely to sign in the state of Texas, in the state of Florida, in the state of Nevada. Oh, by the way, all those teams have been to Cup Finals and have won. That's 4 teams right there, right? So, Nashville is the outlier in the state of Tennessee. That's also tax-free. So,
yeah, but they also, and they're not a good team, but they had a bunch of good players sign there last year.
100%. And why do those players sign there?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, this is what I'm not terribly fond of the position of the league. I get why the league is saying it, but this is the same league that says that there is no causal connection between repeated headshots and permanent brain damage. There are certain things that even if you say something one way, we know that it's not true. We all have that friend that says, well, this really happened. You're like, sure, whatever. You're shaking your head. You were an idiot. That's not how it happened. This is why you're stupid and live in a trailer. Nothing wrong with living in a trailer. Live in a trailer. I fully support you. It's a nice way to avoid paying taxes. But I mean, it's just silly. Now, as far as the Oilers go,
yeah,
Florida's they were a fast team. They were tough on the forecheck, right?
Oh, all over.
And they have a lot of nice pieces there, and their decor is really good, and their goaltending is phenomenal. It's not that, and so I want to say this to Oilers fans, it's not that your team wasn't very good. It's a really good team. It's been in the Cup Final twice. That means that's a clear indication you have a great team. The problem is Florida is really, really good. And they will throttle you, and they throw people across this entire playoff run. That's just how they are. For the Oilers, yeah, you need to make some changes. You need a quicker team. Goaltending is an issue. Shore up your D. If Hyman doesn't get hurt, I don't know what this looks like. Probably doesn't look much different. I don't think one player makes a difference.
Yeah, I said we love Hyman, and he had a good playoff, but they're not beating them just because Hyman's with them. Like, hell.
I mean, no one ever says Hyman's the reason we didn't win the cup, but I guess the argument is Hyman made that second line better, right? That's the argument. It's just a reasonable argument. But ultimately, Florida is a really well-constructed team, and every once in a while, a team comes across that's like that. In this day and age where there's parity not only among teams, but among athletes, what Florida has accomplished is impressive insofar as roster construction goes. But let's be clear, bringing it back. Let's be clear about one thing. The tax situation in Florida makes it just a little bit easier to attract players and keep those players. And here's the thing.
That's what
a little bit easier. Sorry, Dustin, a little bit easier.
Yeah.
In an age with great parity among players, a little bit easier confers a significant advantage. I think that's what's maybe being lost.
Do you think I looked it up. Florida's got about $19 million in cap space. I think most people are sort of thinking that they'll lose at least one of those 3 free agents. But, I mean, if you're Ekblad and you're Bennett and you're Marchand and you see what this team has there already, and on a multi-year deal, you can save millions of dollars by signing there, do you think they could find a way to keep all 3 of those guys?
The way that they keep all 3 guys is if the 3 guys want to stay. And they negotiate with all 3 at the same time. Yeah, so this is the amount of money we have. I don't know how much cap space they have, but it wouldn't be enough to sign all 3 at fair market value, right? So maybe you give them some extra term.
Maybe Marchand gets a 3rd year or something. And, something
lower his AAV on that. I think that's possible. The one thing that kind of bothered me a little bit was there was a study out of Oslo years ago that concluded that players who use performance-enhancing drugs are conferred an advantage of about 4 years after they stop using them. Baseball gets it right. If you test positive for PEDs, you're out of the playoffs. It's punitive, intentionally punitive, but it makes sense because you still have a significant benefit from PEDs. It doesn't just go away. Ekblad tested positive, right?
Yeah.
Why is he in the playoffs? Why? He still was enjoying the benefits of PEDs. That annoys the hell out of me. Would this have been a different series if Ekblad wasn't in there? I would say yes.
Eric Macramalla bringing the heat with us on the show this morning. Kachuk did say
it's not me. It's my team of writers.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Kachuk referred to them as a dynasty last night. I was asked about it a couple of times this morning and some other shows I was on before ours. I think modern day, I don't know if you'll find a team do much more than they've done the last 3 years with getting to a final than winning 2. Are you okay throwing the D word around for this Florida Panthers team?
Douchebag? Yeah. So, sorry, that was for my low energy loser writer, Jeb.
Jeb Bush.
Yeah, he's an idiot. It's funny because I was thinking about this. If a Canadian team been to 3 Cup finals, we'd be yelling Dynasty from the tallest building. Yeah. Agreed? But because it's Florida, we're not saying it's a dynasty. We don't like them. We want to punch Matthew Tkachuk in the face. I'm in Ottawa. I feel the same way about his brother. Can't help it. It's just the way it is, right? It's not an terribly likable team, but are they a dynasty? I think you got to do 4. Because dynasty, it's like the difference between being great in sports and all-time great. Dynasty is an all-time great team, right? Right now, the Panthers are a great team that has had great success, but to be all-time with the Islanders and the Canadians and the Oilers, you have to, I think 4 is the number. What do you think? I'm just making this up now, but it seems logical to me.
4 straight trips to a Cup final or 4 cups?
No, I would say 4 visits to a Cup final, just given now it's just so much harder to win with the salary cap and how athletes are like,
that's an interesting point. Like, to me, this is a fun discussion because they've won 2 now. If they go back next year and lose, is that going to make me think they're more of a dynasty than they are after winning the back-to-back cups? It's like, oh, congratulations, you made it back again.
2-4.
You lost. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, pulling off a 3-peat in any of these professional leagues right now would be damn near impossible.
But the thing is, does anybody say the Golden State Warriors are a dynasty or were? No, right? Dynasty feels different.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's an emotional thing,
though.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I think that's.
I mean, who has won that many recently, right? I mean, LeBron James on his own is a dynasty. Wherever he goes, they go to the finals. But the Warriors are not considered a dynasty. Florida doesn't feel like a dynasty. I guess the issue, in part, is there's so much parity among teams that during the regular season, no team is so exclusively dominant, right? And I think that's part of it. If you're so dominant in the regular season, I think it's part of the discussion, not the biggest part, but part of it. But ultimately, I look at the Panthers and I see a very good team, but not an all-time great team just yet. I don't see it, but maybe next year. They win the Cup next year. So it's 4 Cup appearances.
If they win the Cup next year, it's done. It's a done deal then.
It's 4. It's 4, right?
Yeah, that would be 3 Stanley Cups over a 4-year stretch.
Yeah. Because no one would have said that the Red Sox were a dynasty when they won the World Series, right? 2 or 3 is not enough. 2 or 3 championship appearances is not enough, I don't think. So that's how I feel. That's how my writers feel as well.
This was an excellent conversation today. An excellent conversation. We thank you for your time.
Yeah, well, thank you, for having me on at this very difficult time. I want your listeners to know, as a Canadians fan and as an Expos fan, and I was a big-time Expos fan, I understand how today feels, and it absolutely sucks. But all I will say is this, is the Panthers are a very good team, but the Oilers are a really good team as well. They just played a team where the matchup wasn't entirely great, but the Oilers would have beat pretty much any other team in the league. So congratulations on the season.
We love you. We'll talk next week.
I love you guys more.
How about this? The smoothing, sultry tones of Macramalla today.
He was hitting it.
I think he nailed it on a
variety
couple of different levels. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999.
Although in the nasty chat, his Warriors take isn't going over too well, but
the reason the Warriors win 3 of 4 is pretty dynastic.
In a modern era where caps and all that.
The only thing I think why people would maybe doubt that is that, like, the last 2 years they brought in KD, where like if they win 3 of 4 with just Draymond, Clay, and Steph and Steve Kerr,
that's the dynasty.
That's sort of different.
Yeah.
That Golden State team, once they got KD, dynasty, but cheat code, like unbeatable. So dynasty, dynasty
with an asterisk, perhaps.
Yeah,
if you want.
For what we've seen the last 10 years, that Golden State Warriors team is the golden. Yeah, you know what? Think about this. I would. Yeah,
you're just not going to get a Red Wings team like you had in the past, like that type of thing.
No, but the Red Wings.
The league doesn't operate like that anymore.
No, but I think Golden State was even better. Like, think about this with Golden State. They win the first year. The next year, they set the all-time record for wins in a season.
Mm-hmm.
Don't win the title. We know why. Then they go out and bring in Kevin Durant and absolutely walk over the league for 2 years. That's as much of a dynasty as you'll see today. So the Golden State Warriors, yes, 100% a dynasty.
But I do like the LeBron one-man dynasty take as well.
Look, when you go to the NBA Finals, 9 of 10 years, the only year you didn't go, you were hurt. It's different. It's an individual thing in a team sport. It's a whole different conversation. And the whole ring culture thing in the NBA, we'll get to later on in the week. To me, the whole just getting to the finals thing is like I said, the Warriors, the year they didn't win the title, they set the all-time record for wins in the season, right? That was an all-time great team. But the other comparison we can look at, and I know some people, I know we got to get going because we got Button, Washinsky, and a bunch of stuff. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have been to 5 straight Grey Cups, but they've lost the last 3. Do you view the Bombers as a dynasty when they've been to 5 straight Grey Cups, but they lost more than they won?
I think the appearances to success ratio has to weigh at least one more on the success, right?
Yeah, I would think.
Because you're counting chips, and to say that the regular season, like the record, that Warriors record was great,
but they were still 3-1 over that 4-game stretch, that 4-year stretch.
So that outweighs the failure. So I think, like, again, the Bills, going back to that era.
So if Florida gets back next year and loses in the Stanley Cup Final, then it's 2-2. Is that a dynasty?
I think winning back to back, you could argue, if the ratio is tied, perhaps.
Oh man, who knows?
There's no right
conversation.
Answer here.
I think that's true.
Talk.
There's no right answer, but Golden State was a dynasty. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Hour number 3 is going to look like this. We've got kind of easy trivia coming up. We've got 3 questions too many coming up. Button's going to join us at, what did I say, 8:20? 8:15. Okay, so we're going to get going. Button's going to join us at 8:15. Greg Washinsky just after 8:30. Lieutenant Eric's Weekly Rankings of Power, and the wrap for William Huff. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please tell your friends about EST, and they too can listen. And if you're watching over on YouTube today, smash the thumbs up for us. We are over 300. Let's blow through 400 here right away as well. We're about 68 likes away from that. And if you haven't subbed to our channel, I know many of you are just like, oh, there's hardos, but I'm telling you, we're doing good stuff all day, every day, all year round. And also good stuff on Macramalla, I thought, on the tax thing. It was nice for me to not have to trump that for a bit here.
And I think that too, you're struggling. I don't think we're ever going to find an answer. It sure helps, but is it the...
No, but on a long-term deal...
Yes.
Where a guy can make millions of dollars extra by just staying in Florida,
Yeah,
it's an advantage that I think is a little bit bigger than some people
and not
think.
just attracting, but the keeping together. I think you have to add that on as well. Yeah.
All right, if you want to play kind of easy trivia, gift certificate to Mr. Mike's is up for grabs right now. Let's do it. Text Trev 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 if you want to win that gift certificate and play kind of easy trivia today. 780-218-9999. Let's get to a sports update right now for Windsor Plywood Leduc. Jam-packed third hour coming up here on the Nielson Show. Don't go anywhere.
Panthers winning their second straight Stanley Cup over the Oilers 5-1, your Game 6 final. Sam Reinhart, 4 goals, while Sam Bennett was awarded the Conn Smythe. He led the postseason with 15 goals. NHL Draft, June 27 from LA. Free agency set to open on July 1st. Bo Bichette and Addison Barger walked it off with back-to-back homers as the Jays take the opener of an interleague series with the Diamondbacks 5-4. Game 2 goes tonight. First pitch, 5:07. The Jays, 39-33. They're now 3 games back of the division-leading Yankees. Riverhawks were back home last night. They get thumped by the Bellingham Bells 7-1 to fall to 7-6. Game 2 of that 3-game set goes tonight from Remax. It'll be the running of the Gingers night. Green beer, some hurling as well, and some Irish dancing on tap. Plus, people with red hair get 50% off admission at the gate. It's also a game you can hear live on EST. Coverage starts at 7:05. At Energy City, Cactus Rats picking up a big road win out in Weyburn, 7-2 over the Beavers. They'll conclude that 2-game series later tonight at 7:05. And over to the Gold Cup, where Tajon Buchanan netted a brace as Canada opened group stage play with a 6-0 win over Honduras from BC Place. Match day 2 will see Canada take on Curaçao Saturday night down in Houston. Sports Update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding areas since '93. Doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff at Windsor Plywood Leduc.
Owen's mama, she's a baddie. Claim you didn't have a cousin Patty. You tried so hard, but couldn't get a pass. Stay away from me, you horse's ass. She's the mama, a real pain. Gonna throw her from the train.
Chap, Owen, come on.
She's the mama, a real pain. Gonna throw her from the train.
Chap, Owen, come on.
Owen's mama, not very nice. She's on some soda with some ice. Chop, Owen, she's always bugging. Who are you? All of a sudden. She's the mama, a real pain. Gonna throw her from the train.
Chap, Owen, come on.
She's the mama, a real pain. Gonna throw her from the train.
Chap, Owen, come on.
Owen's mama, banged her butt, don't want salt on her nuts. Owen's mama, got no spouse, there's a murderer in the house. She's the mama, a real pain, gonna throw her from the train.
Chap, Owen, come on.
She's the mama, a real pain, gonna throw her from the train.
Owen,
All right, there you go. It is Wednesdays right here. Our tribute to Anne Ramsey and the classic movie Throw Mama from the Train. It is the Nielsen Show the morning after another Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup defeat. Lots to discuss, though, over the next couple of weeks. Free agency looms. Got a McDavid contract, a Bouchard contract to discuss. Monumental offseason possibly coming up here for your mighty Edmonton Oilers as they look to reload and run it back next year.
Yeah, and you already addressed that McDavid will be going nowhere. We had Rashawn on earlier as well. It's just the numbers.
McDavid's not leaving. They'll get something done. It's just a matter of how you do it with the rest of the group.
Yeah.
We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio today. Furby, one of the owners of all the Popeyes locations. I feel for you today, buddy. Furby's hardcore. I know he's feeling it just like many of you today. The entire city is down in the dumps today. But I think we're having a pretty good show. Craig Button's going to join us coming up in about 5-10 minutes. We've got Greg Washinsky on the way as well. We're going to get to a little kind of easy trivia. Trev's finding somebody to play kind of easy trivia right now. It is brought to you by Mr. Mike's. This is what the city needs this morning. There's no doubt about it. Let's find out if there's a special going on right now at Mr. Mike's.
Well, that's right, Dusty. Mr. Mike's is turning up the sizzle this summer with Platypalooza, and you can too. From barbecue rib platters to coastal combos with lobsters and prawns, it's big flavor all summer long. Plus, and for your shot at sizzling summer prizes, get into Mr. Mike's. Platypalooza's on Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
Mr. Mike's Platypalooza. All right. Who's playing today, Trev? Who do we got, buddy?
Scalding Gourd.
Scalding Gourd is going to play today. Needs to get 3 of 5 correct. Trev's going to start the ticker after I read the first question. Then we'll get into 3 questions too many, and then we will have Craig Button on the show. All right, Scalding Gourd, you ready to go, my man?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. I'll start the ticker, or Trev will start the ticker after I read the first question. Good luck. Which team won the Stanley Cup last night?
The Florida Panthers.
Which team won the Stanley Cup last year?
The Florida Panthers.
Who won the Conn Smythe Trophy last night?
Sam Bennett.
How many Cup finals have the Oilers lost since they won in 1990?
They remind me of the Buffalo Bills.
Which team gave up both Tkachuk and Sam Bennett to the Panthers?
The Calgary Flames.
That's right, they did.
And Sergio Ramos gets a nipple erection.
Oh, is that dirty?
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
Oh, is that dirty?
Frustration sets in and the emotion goes out, and then you just start playing by yourself.
Oh, is that dirty?
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Wednesday morning club beat loop. Congratulations to Scalding Gourd. At least he's a winner. Let's get into 3 questions too many today. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segments?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and at dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where you can be a winner too. Head on down to Park Mazda today, out in the park or online, parkmazda.ca. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
For life. Do we have a Twitter account?
Life. We do. It's YEG Sports Talk. You can follow on Twitter, on the X, if you will, where the takes are flying. I know RCN found an interesting photo on Twitter of the Buffalo Bills logo with blue and orange saying Edmonton Oilers on it.
They got 2 more. They have to go 2 more times.
You're not in Bills territory yet.
No, not even close.
But YEG Sports Talk, 70 away from the 6K mark.
All right, let's get into it here. Question number 1. We do need a third question. So if you're listening right now on TuneIn or iHeart or over on YouTube or whatever, Oilers question, maybe a non-Oilers question. Hey, mix it up briefly. Send your questions in to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you guys were calling the shots, what is the one move you have to make this offseason? Outside of signing McDavid and Bouchard.
Unloading Evander Kane.
Yeah, I'd like to free up that money.
I'm not taking a shot at Evander. I get it. But the money.
You know what? Somebody over the Penner's Pancake says, guys, so the Oilers have $11.9 million. I mean, I think I was looking at that as well. I mean, they got like Max Jones on there for $1 million. Like, so that guy can be bumped out. So, I mean, you're probably looking at a little bit more than the 11.9, but he says, add in Kane's 5.13, Arvidsson's $4 million, Rico's $3 million. That's possibly $24 million. You can re-sign Brown for $1 million, maybe Kapanen at $1 million, and then you have $22 million to figure out Bouchard, top 6, and maybe a goalie. So, but now with that said, Kane, you'd have to unload. Arvidsson will be open to a trade. We know that already. I think you'll be able to find a place for Arvidsson. I'm not sure what happens with Henrique. Would have liked to seen him be better in the playoffs as well. But there are ways to free up some money, but it won't necessarily be easy. Look, I think to appease everybody, and I thought Rashad made an interesting point on this too. I mean, the addressing of the goaltender. He said, is there a way to do it without throwing out the baby with the bathwater? And that would be Stuart Skinner. Can you keep Stuart Skinner? And this is not a shot against Pickard, who is everything you asked of him. It did everything you asked of him. But could you keep Stuart Skinner at the number that he's at and bring in an upgrade at net somehow? And then Skinner's only 3 years in.
It was the whole Campbell thing.
It was the Campbell plan,
yeah.
but it backfired. So I don't know.
I like the term, though, addressing it.
Yeah.
Not blowing it up or what some fans might want.
Question number 2. From now until the puck drops next season, which sport or EST event are you most excited for?
Take your pick.
I mean, first of all, inject the CFL into our show veins. We are more than ready to turn our focus onto that.
The CFL takes high precedence for me. Again, getting down to, I know the Riverhawks last night were at home.
Tough scheduling.
They don't make that schedule knowing when the Oilers are going to play the Stanley Cup Final, as a lot of people like to think that other teams outside of hockey do. But you've got the Riverhawks, you've got the CFL. I mean, by that time, U of A Sports will be cooking. You've got the Edmonton Huskies and Wildcats, which is great Prairie Junior football at a very affordable cost, and a great time out for the afternoon, I must say.
I'm really excited for the golf tournament. All right, I think we are back. Yep. We are back. Sorry about that.
Beer Montenegro is having flashbacks of the last time the cup was awarded, and we went kind of weird. And
look, I'm just going to say it right now. We're hoping that we'll have these internet issues corrected, because we're moving to a new office in the summer. Yeah, I had to say it. I had to say it. I had to say it. Enough's enough. Wow. Enough's enough. I can't take it anymore. We have secured a new office. We have a new location. It's not far from this location, but we are moving there in over the next month, in July.
See, and that's why you stick on the stream.
Yeah, for the big news.
You're going to get that type of news.
For the big news. I know it's big news for all you nasties who've been coming by the office and stuff. I'd kind of been low-key under the radar looking at new offices for the last 2 months because our lease was up here. And when we got this place, it was good. We only had like 5 guys. Now we've got 10. Gets a little crowded sometimes. I was looking for the right place. And we found a place. I get the keys to the new building like tomorrow or the next day. And then we'll be able to move in over the next month. And it's bigger. This place is like 1,300 square feet. The new office is 2,700.
Yeah. And if you thought the Russian spa was something...
Yeah.
Wait and see our neighbors.
Wait until you find out what's next door to the new office. I don't even know if they probably don't want us talking about it. It's like...
Actually, you're right, because it is a bit of a...
Right? Yeah. It's kind of a sneaky place.
I'll just say this, bring out the GIMP.
Anyway, so we weren't going to announce it just yet, but I was so pissed off that the internet cut out here again. I was like, screw it. I'll just say it. We're ripping off that Band-Aid. We're moving to Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll have a new global headquarters by August 1st at the latest. So that's kind of exciting. All right. Hit us up, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You're going to I think people are going to like the new place.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what sucked is that I was going to keep it as a surprise, and then next week be like, hey, guys, we're having a meeting at a remote location, and then all the guys are going to roll in. But yesterday, the landlord out in Vancouver texted me and says her son's bringing somebody to look at the place. I was like, well, now I can't keep it a secret anymore, so I had to tell everybody yesterday.
Texts of the old Shanks building are flying into the pair of Steelers inbox.
It's not the old Shanks building.
Can we quash that rumor?
But it's, you know what? I looked at a lot of places. We're going to get the button here right away. I looked at a lot of places, And I was like, you know what? We could probably extend here for another year. But I looked at a lot of places. It's a place that used to have, it was a communication company that was in there before. So I'm assuming their internet's a hell of a lot better than what we have in this shoddy building.
But if you're dropping bombs like that after we go away for a second to come back, what's going to happen next?
We'll see.
Yeah,
I'll just say we'll see. So it's exciting, but it's we're going to be there for a few years. I signed an extended lease on it, and it's a good spot, and it's not far from here. It's like two blocks away,
and you get an office.
And I will have an. I don't even have an office. I don't even have an office. The new place, I will have an office. And the studios are much bigger. It's going to be. It was time. We've had good 2 years here, but it was time for something else. So So yeah, we're excited about that. And I was so furious with the internet. I was like, screw it. Let's just say it.
I love it.
We're moving to a new place. So yeah, it's
I
going
want
to
to
get.
start fooling around with the internet more, so you just start saying more weird things and you come back on.
You know what's next? I'll tell you what's next. Anyway, yeah. Oh, I got so many things I want to say right now, but I got to keep everything under wraps. All right. Let's bring it. We got about, we'll keep Button for about 7-8 minutes. Washinsky's coming up as well. Craig Button brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialist. Have Pro-Am custom frame that jersey you have in the closet or the photo you still got in the box. Visit them in store to get started on a project located in Edmonton, the corner of Sandbrook Trail, 128th Ave, or online at proamsports.ca. Mr. Button forgot to set his alarm this morning. Can you believe this guy? Craig, I knew you'd step in now, but what happened, my man?
I just did not. Like, I went to bed last night. I did set it for 6:30, but I never turned it on. I guess I was out of the mode. I was just kind of not in the mode. McLennan noodles. He's got to fly. He plans his flights at all the wrong times of the day. So I apologize for leaving you hanging. I owe you.
You know what? It was okay because Rashog, I think, must have been watching. He's like, hey, I can step in, give me a call. So
we're just glad you're okay.
I was worried about you. I was legit worried. You should have seen it. Go back and look at the show. I was like, what's going on with Craig? We need a wellness check. I'm so worried. But yeah, lots to discuss, Craig. In the end, I said it right off the top of the show this morning. There's so many things we can discuss with the Oilers, but in the end, a hat tip to the Florida Panthers. That's a really good hockey team, isn't it?
Yeah, I know Ryan Rashog said that last night in a note and in his commentary that the Oilers really tipped their caps to the Florida Panthers. If you look at 6 games, never at the end of regulation were the Edmonton Oilers ever leading. They needed 2 overtime wins to get their 2 victories in this series. Giving up 9 goals in the first period of the last 4 games, 13-4 against overall. It's just not good enough. And, we can look at the Oilers and listen, I'm going to, in full disclosure here, and it's not hidden or anything, like your announcement about going to a new building and new studio. Like, at the beginning of the playoffs, I really thought that the Oilers were first-round fodder. I think that against the LA Kings, they were in trouble. I think through the first 2 games and the first 2 periods of Game 3, they really showed that they were in trouble. But they found their game, and let's tip our cap to them for finding their game. And Connor McDavid said they got rolling and they got playing, and that deserves respect because they were limping into the playoffs, with some players that weren't healthy. They were without Ekholm, but they found their game, and that deserves. They deserve some credit for that. But against this Florida Panthers team, they just weren't good enough. They were simply not good enough. The goaltending wasn't good enough. The blue line wasn't better than the Florida Panthers. Their depth wasn't better. Yeah, they have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Other than that, every check mark goes to the Florida Panthers. Every other single check mark. Power play, penalty killing, 5-on-5, scoring first, goaltending, depth, third line, defense, 6 players. Everything went to the Florida Panthers. The best team won, and the deserving team won. It was a dominant performance by the Florida. I don't think the series was as close as people may think.
Well, I was going to ask you that too, Craig, and I don't know if you wanted to maybe elaborate even more than you did, but Rashog, we had him on earlier, obviously, and he thought the gap was quite close, and you could look at the overtime wins, you could look at if a healthy Hyman, I mean, these are all what-if scenarios, but I'm getting from you that the gap was a lot larger than maybe what Ryan Rashog was suggesting.
Yeah, it is. I think it was. Yeah. I mean, I just went through it. Just go look at what I went.
Better in every aspect. They were better than in every aspect.
So how can it be close if you're better in every aspect? I go back to my own experience when we won in 1999. It took us 6 games to beat the Buffalo Sabres. Like, if it wasn't for Dominik Hasek, I know it took us 3 overtimes to win Game 6. I know the games were close. It was because of Dominik Hasek. It wasn't close. Like, we dominated, and I said it wasn't a matter of if we were going to win, it was a matter of when we were going to win. And I think it was the same for the Florida Panthers. So I don't know how something can be close when and Connor McDavid used two phrases. He said they tilted the ice big time in their favor, and they got on top of us everywhere on the ice.
Yeah.
They were never able to get up ice. And yeah, I know. Hey, listen, in the 2 wins for the Oilers, the Florida Panthers blew a 2-goal lead in Game 1, and they blew a 3-goal lead in Game 4. Not close, guys. I don't think it was close.
And you mentioned, so the Panthers checked every box, and then you do have McDavid and Draisaitl. But even McDavid and Draisaitl in this series, I wouldn't describe as being anything more than okay. Draisaitl didn't have a shot last night. McDavid didn't have a point in Game 6 and 7 in last year's Stanley Cup Final, and then didn't have a point last night as well. What did the Panthers do? Like, how much of that is on McDavid and Draisaitl? How much of it is on Barkov and the way the Panthers defend as a group?
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Dustin. Defending as a group, and they did it as a group. And you think about their defense up on the play. They were. Connor said they were right up on us everywhere. They were on top of us, right up on us. And if you can't break through on that, how are you gonna do that? I said that the Oilers, after Game 3, when they got walloped, they were going to have to dump the puck in. They were going to have to find a way to get the puck behind the Florida defense and the group that controls the neutral zone. They weren't able to do that.
They didn't do it.
They simply weren't. Yeah, they couldn't do it because the Florida Panthers are smothering, they're suffocating. And the other thing for the Edmonton Oilers, they got absolutely zilch for their bottom two lines. Nothing. Evander Kane had an impact in the series negatively at the outset, and then he could never find his way back into the series, into the game. But the bottom two lines, like nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
How can you play? And that forces, like last night, what was it, 13 minutes or 7 minutes into the game, McDavid and Draisaitl together again? I mean, that forces Chris Knobloch to have to use those guys even more. And now you're up against it. There was no energy. There was no physicality. There was no catalyst type play from the bottom two lines. And then you're asking Connor Brown and Corey Perry and Vasily Podkolzin to fill in on that top six. Yeah, three things. Missing Hyman was significant. The lack of depth was significant. And the goaltending simply wasn't good enough.
And we'll obviously have you on for the next few weeks leading up to free agency and things like that. But we, in the wake, so fresh after the loss, and keeping in mind that the Oilers did walk all over the West. They're a good hockey team, but they're just not remotely close to Florida. What's priority number one? Like, we know getting long-term McDavid done deal, obviously. We'll have to figure out what happens with Bouchard. But what about the rest of this? Do they have to go get a change in net? What do you think has to happen here?
Yeah, I think they have to look at changing the goaltending composition, construction of the group. I don't think you can come back with the same two goalies. And I know Ryan talked about don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what new baby's coming in.
Yeah, you might have to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I understand fully what Ryan is saying, and I think, have to be measured. I think the Oilers have to build out their depth in their forward group. I continuously heard about, they're heavier. Well, their heavy players didn't play heavy at all. And, Evander Kane has 1 year left on his contract. I don't know what's going to happen with Trent Frederick. Arvidsson's light, Skinner's light. Arvidsson has another year. You lose Fogle, you lose McLeod, you lose Holloway, you lost speed, you lost size, you lost impact. I think they gotta build out the bottom end of their forward group. And when I say the bottom end, I'm talking about forwards 7 to 12. Because that third line for Florida, beat whoever they were up against like a rented mule. Like the Oilers had no answer for that. And the fourth line was really good. So the Oilers, I think, have to really focus in on that area. The blue line's fine. I think they have 10, 11 really good players. I like that, but 10, 11 really good players aren't going to beat a team that has 16 really good players.
Yeah, we just watched it happen. Quickly, before I let you go, Craig, just on the Panther side of things, Bennett, Marchand, Ekblad, all unrestricted free agents. Do you think there's a world in which they can keep all three guys?
Well, they have about, $20 million left in,
there's about
salary
20
cap space. Yeah, 20 mil. So that means that Ekblad's taking a pay cut to get 7.5. We know that Bennett's going to get a pay raise. I don't see a scenario where that can happen. Could they keep two of the three? Yes, yeah. I think they could. I just don't see them being able to keep all three. I guess the one scenario is could you do it? Could you do it on short-term contracts? I don't know why any player, and Matthew Tkachuk was great last night. I loved what he said when he was asked by James Duthie or Noodles about, Bill Zito saying he could keep all three. He goes, hey, I'm not the right guy. I tell the players, I'm a players guy. Go get as much money as you can.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money on the table for those three guys right now. So for that reason alone, you hit the free market and you're not surprised. You go, okay, I got to leave. And so 2 would be the max I could see them keeping.
Great stuff, Craig. Thanks for sliding in, and we'll be talking some draft and some free agency next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
There you go. That's Craig Button, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, hopping in here this morning with us. I think Washinsky's joining too. He didn't text me and say he's okay. So let's get to a sports update, and then we'll get to Greg Wyshynski and continue to talk about if this Florida team can actually keep a really, really, really good band together. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power still to come, and the wrap for William Huff. And hey, the wrap for William Huff, we're going to have to get busy with William Huff again because we got a new office to wrap.
They're rubbing their hands.
Yeah, we got a new office to wrap. So, it's exciting times here. I look forward to getting all the crew over to the new office and settling into what'll be our new home. I signed a 5-year deal with a no movement clause. So,
and the state tax and that location is a lot better than
the state tax over 107 is a little bit different than 109th. Yeah. Just kidding, Greg. Anyway, Washinsky's going to join us. Let's get to a sports update for a place where it is always game day, Selly Sports Bar and Lounge.
Panthers taking the Cup Final in 6 over the Oilers. 5-1 your final last night. Sam Bennett awarded the Conn Smythe. He led the playoffs with 15 goals, while Sam Reinhart had 4 in the Game 6 win. The NHL Draft, June 27 from LA. Free agency opening July 1st. Elsewhere this morning, the Rangers and Matt Rempe have agreed on terms to a 2-year contract extension.
Had to get that one done.
It's something. Bobo Bichette and Addison Barger walked it off back-to-back jacks as the Jays take the opener over the Diamondbacks 5-4. Game 2 of that 3-game set tonight. First pitch 5:07. Riverhawks fall to 7-6. They 7-1 home loss to the Bellingham Bells. Game 2 of that 3-game set goes tonight. It's a game you can hear live on EST. Coverage starts at 7:05. If you do plan on going tonight, it is the Running of the Gingers night. Green beer, hurling, and people with red hair will get 50% off admission at the gate. Energy City Cactus Rats improved to 6-9 out in Weyburn with a 7-2 win over the Beavers. They'll conclude that 2-game set tonight. First pitch 7:05. And Canada with a 6-0 thrashing of Honduras to open their group stage schedule at the Gold Cup. Match day 2 will see Canada face Curacao Saturday night down in Houston. Sports Update is presented by Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge with wall-to-wall TVs, daily food and drink specials. It is the place to be for every Oilers game. Every day is game day at Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge.
.37 on the Nielson Show the morning after the Florida Panthers eliminate the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup in 6 games. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. That'll get you into the Paris Jewelers inbox today. One of your text messages will end up winning text of the day. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power still to come. That's good for the Italian Center as well, plus the wrap for William Huff. We've been trying to sort through as many messages as we possibly can. I do like this one from Mr. Magic. He says they just got hot until they ran into a real team. Like the Kings in Vegas and Dallas Stars were like, the Oilers are a really good team. They walked through a pretty good West. But the Florida Panthers were just simply on another level. Let's discuss it all with Greg Wyshynski, who joins us from ESPN this morning. Wyshynski, how are you, sir?
First off, I didn't see your text, so I apologize for not getting back to you and making it mysterious whether I would be on the show today.
Oh, no. All good,
and then the second thing is you're moving from the office that I just went to?
Yeah.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah. Sorry, man. We're moving to office that's about twice the size of this one, actually. So
like, how long is it going to take you to populate this new office with empty vodka bottles? At least 3 days.
Oh, I was going to say a weekend. Give us a weekend. Give us the while we're moving in.
Well, I'm happy I got a chance to see the old barn. I feel like someone who went to Nassau Coliseum before they built UBS.
This is the OG location. You got to be here,
right?
Buddy. Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, I very first thing I said in the show today, and I don't want to think I'm simplifying it. It's just like sometimes you have to tip your hat to an insanely good hockey team, and I mean, the Florida Panthers were, near perfectly constructed, to be honest with you. How close do you think this, because we've had some interest, Rashad hopped on and said he thought he thought these two teams were pretty close. Button was like, it's not even close at all. Where do you come out on how close are the Oilers to the Panthers right now?
I think that you just have to admit sometimes that certain teams are built to beat other teams. And I said this when I picked the Panthers in 6, by the way.
Nailed it.
And I stick with it, which is that they are almost constructed in a lab perfectly to play the Oilers. Because if you look at how the Oilers went through the West, and again, it's an incredible accomplishment to win the conference in 2 consecutive seasons. Connor and Leon fly around. When they get going, they intimidate teams. They're able to win with their depth against teams in the West. And all of those things just don't work against the Panthers. They're not intimidated if by Leon and Connor. And if they get down in a game like Dallas did, they're not going to get all boo-boo face because the things they do don't work. The Panthers are willing to beat you on their own terms. And that's a really, really hard thing for a team to learn, but they've mastered it. And then you get into the roster construction and the fact that, like, their third line has Brad Marchand on it. And it's just, they're an incredibly, incredibly good team. But listen, for Oilers fans waking up this morning, this is how Kings fans feel. Kings fans feel that there's a team out there. They think they're pretty good. Like, we got Kopitar and Doughty, and we're like good. But there's one team we can't beat, and we just keep playing them. And I think that's kind of the situation with the Panthers. Like, if this was any other team in the Eastern Conference, we might be having a completely different conversation right now. Hell, we might be talking about this thing being over in 5. But it's the Panthers, and like, they just can't beat the Panthers, and that just happens sometimes.
Another topic, too, that different people are coming on different sides. I mean, we talked about last night and the need for the Oilers' big dogs to, it's a big-time game. You expect big players show up. Draisaitl without a shot, -4. -4 is all around. Bouchard, McDavid. And how much is that... we have lazy takes being they suck, but you just talked about how good the Panthers are at neutralizing them and shutting down. So how do you kind of balance that equation as well with, the big dogs, again, and some of those numbers, no shots for Draisaitl is pretty outstanding. How much credit? We've tipped our cap to the Panthers already, but is it just a constant tipping of the cap at this point, given those numbers?
Well, let's talk about Leon, right? Like, this is now, I think, the 3rd time in his career that he's not had a shot attempt in a game, right? And 2 of them have come against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Like, in this series, like, at some point you've got to give what they do credit in how they were able to neutralize Connor and Leon. In Connor's case, like, yeah, he's going to get a ton of criticism. He already is. I saw PK on the ESPN this morning talking about, like, he should reevaluate his life with the Oilers because of losing in the Stanley Cup Final. I don't know if that's the case, but
probably not.
When you have to get past 2 guys nominated for the Selke that play on the same line, and you get past them, now you got Ekblad and Forsling and or Jones and Mikkola, who were honestly better than Ekblad and Forsling in these playoffs. Okay, now you get past them, and now you got Bobrovsky back there, who just like saves everything he needs to in a game. It's a very, very daunting task for any player, even the best player in the world. And so you have to give the Panthers credit for what they were able to do against the Oilers. But again, also no power plays at all in this series in Game 6. Come on a little bit. And I think the Oilers did have a gripe on that one play where McDavid was tripped. But all that being said, they had one job last night and they couldn't accomplish it, which is to score the first goal. Every single day leading up to this game, it was guys like Draisaitl saying, we gotta play with a lead. We can't chase the game. And you know how you get a lead? One of your megastar franchise players makes a play. And they never got that in the last, 4 games of this series. It was always the Panthers pouncing first, and then they chase the game and the series is over.
Greg Wyshynski with us from ESPN. I think it's a really fascinating discussion on, the Florida Panthers are almost, I think you said, like, constructed in a lab to beat the Edmonton Oilers. And I remember saying similar things because it was Florida that lost to Tampa twice, right? Tampa beat Florida twice, and you're just like, man, like, Florida just can't get by Tampa. And then eventually they did. How do the Oilers eventually build a team that can beat the Florida Panthers? Like, how do you do that?
Well, here's how the Panthers beat the Lightning. They didn't bring back the coach of a President's Trophy winning team, okay, in Andrew Brunette, and they hired Paul Maurice, and we were all like, the Whalers guy? Why are you hiring
Man,
Paul Maurice?
The poor Winnipeg Jets fans. You refer to Maurice as the Whalers guy.
Well, I mean, like, you know, like he lost his smile in Winnipeg and was like, I can't get anything more out of these guys. I'm gonna leave. And you're just like, that's the guy you're hiring to replace the guy who won the President's Trophy. And then they hired him because they didn't believe that despite all of their offensive talent, that they played a brand of hockey that could win in the playoffs. And that was a calculated move, and it paid off because they went from a team that could fly high and lead the league in goals to a team that could do what they do now, which is play incredibly structured defense and also hit you in the head. Let's be honest. They are the team that hits you in the head, and they hit goalies and they hit everybody. A month after they hired Maurice, almost to the day, they traded a guy who was tied for second in the league in points to Calgary for Matthew Tkachuk. And what Matthew Tkachuk did was not only give them an amazing player who's like an MVP quality player, but an injection of swagger and attitude and the je ne sais quoi that was missing from the franchise since its inception. And so those two things happened within a month of each other. That's pretty much unrepeatable. But the moral of the story, boys, when it comes to the Oilers, is not we got to hit him in the head. It's not we got to go get this guy or that guy. It's that you have to take bold swings. And, you know, I don't know what that bold swing looks like, but you look at how the Panthers were constructed, and it was swinging for the fence and swinging for the fence and swinging for the fence. And sometimes they didn't pay off. The Ben Sherratt trade remains one of the worst trades I've ever seen by Bill Zito. But most of the time it worked, and they were huge swings to try to change the things that were fundamentally wrong with the organization.
Let's wrap with this one on the Panthers, because Bennett was amazing. Marchand was a beast. Ekblad is also a free agent. Zito's saying he thinks he might be able to keep all three of them. Do you think they can do it? Do you think they can pull that off? They got 19 mil. You can move the odd $1 million around here or there. I mean, that'd be pretty impressive. I won't be stunned if they can do it, but it kind of seems unlikely. But what do you think?
I can't imagine that they're going to be able to do it financially. And Marchand, in being on the ground, I've covered the Panthers now for 2 months. I've seen more of Luosterainen than I have my own child in the last 2 months. So I think being here, I've gotten the sense that they're going to re-sign Bennett, that Marchand's going to take the largest contract that he's given that has the commiserate number of years that he wants. And I don't know if that's going to be in Florida, even though I know how important he was to this team and how much they love to keep him around. And the Ekblad one is the intriguing one because they want him to stay, but they want him to stay at their number. And I don't think he likes their number. So the question is does he want to go chase the money in the contract and be somebody else's number one defenseman elsewhere, and then not be with the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions and no longer have Gus Forsling as your DD partner, which is pretty important if you're Aaron Ekblad, or if you want to re-sign for the number they're looking for. There is a reality in the multiverse in which all three guys resign. If I was going to put money on it, Bennett's here, Ekblad's here, maybe, and Marchand's a Leaf.
Oh boy, that's a great way to wrap up the segment. Greg, we'll let you go, and we'll catch you up next week. We'll be talking some draft and obviously free agency just around.
Can't wait for you to see the new studio as well.
Yeah.
Real quick, man. Thank you for everything, and thank you to the Oilers fans for making this run again extremely fun to cover, and the games in Edmonton extremely fun to attend, and it'll happen at some point. You just have to hope that something happens.
That's what I said today. I said, you know what?
Oh, the Wyshynski curse.
McDavid and Draisaitl are going to deliver a cup to
East to get really, really good to knock out the Panthers, and then you can beat that team.
Yeah, exactly.
But keep the faith. It was a great season, and it's a real accomplishment to get back twice. You're just going up against a dynastic juggernaut of the best rats we've seen together in the NHL.
I saw that article. That was a good way to look at it.
That's a good article. Read it. It's on ESPN.com.
Yeah, you know what? I might spend my small reading time today on your article. I might actually check that one out. So, all right, buddy. We'll see you later.
Take care.
There you go. That is Greg Wyshynski. Yeah, he's been fun all year. Okay, a couple of things still to get to. Your weekly rankings of power. We're going to go weekly rankings of power.
Okay.
Then we're going to go, that's good.
Okay.
I've still got, and then we got the wrap for William Huff.
Okay.
All right. So Maddie Hang will be a little bit late today. All right.
Well, I can rifle through these.
Well, no, but I'm curious. I do want to give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
All right. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. What are we ranking today, buddy?
Well, and again, feel free to chime in because usually the listener submitted rankings are always better than mine. So if I've missed anything, 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. I know this is probably a personal topic for a lot of you. So if you have something that we either shared together or you did yourself, please add it in. Don't want to forget about it. But the top 10 memories from this Cup run.
All right, number 10.
The Def Leppard song.
Yeah. It's a banger. We'll be playing it next year.
Solid footing. Reed loves Def Leppard. It was kind of an homage to him.
Yeah, he's in. Let's do it.
And it was the one playoff anthem that everybody kind of collectively enjoyed.
Yeah.
Which most years there's somebody who's like, oh, this sucks. Yeah.
All right, number 9.
The use of artificial intelligence. Should have had that at 10, maybe Def Leppard 9 for some people, but AI came in very handy for a variety of tunes and little snippets that we had put together.
And lots of fun in the summer coming up with
Stuart
AI
Skinner
too.
songs.
Yeah, exactly. Number 8.
The Blue Drink and Wing Nights at Hudson's watch parties.
Blue Drink.
I enjoyed the Blue Drink mightily, and whenever a game did fall on a Wing Wednesday, I mean, you kidding me? Best deal in town. EST watch party and Wing Night at Hudson's. It's
great watch parties, man. Just so much fun. Number 7.
An episode that you missed, but ESPN's Greg Washinsky here, our last guest, live in studio.
Yeah,
we did get somebody live.
Yeah,
the hotel
live?
was a block away. Zach had his golf cart. He'd go there, pick nobody up, and drive back. But Washinsky was the one who actually walked over and took some time. So he got a hat from that. It was great to see him.
Number 6.
Hernan Salas smoking.
Yeah.
Post and sometimes pregame.
Just darts.
That was a good, people like to jab him on that.
Number 5.
Tony and Curtis at Boston Pizza Westgate watch parties, and I'll just leave it at that.
Good times.
Those
right
were
there.
wild.
The trouble for some of us, not necessarily me.
BP's Hudson's, and of course the Ice House downtown.
Good times overall.
Awesome stuff.
Number 4.
The Principe Pie from the Italian Center, which we'll be getting to
Shout
as
out
well.
to Italian
Very
Center.
delicious.
Yeah, that was
I
a
got
great
one the
run.
other day as well, sitting in the fridge.
Terrific run. Number 3.
The Reed Wilkins Pipsqueak rant.
Yeah, Pipsqueak Wimp.
We had a lot of fun with that clip, at least for like the week that it was.
That was pretty good. I don't know if I got to kick it around. That was good. All right, number 2.
Number 2 was the Gentleman Sweep shows. Those
man,
were
that's
just,
not number 1.
Well,
Gentlemen Sweep shows were so good.
Were they ever?
I can't wait till next year in the playoffs. You know they're going to be gentlemen sweeping somebody in the West.
Well, if the Elks can beat... like if they play 3 teams in the West and they allow like the Lions won the first one.
Yeah.
Do they play them twice? If they play them twice more and win, well,
I don't know about that. Reed'll quit. He'll go back to Ched, and he does not want to be there. All right, number 1.
The number 1 in my top 10 memories from the Cup run was the K-Town Senior and Community Center doing the Star Spangled Banner in LA on harmonica.
Damn harmonica.
Do you know how long ago that was? Just pause to think about that.
That was a long
I bet you all
time
forgot
ago.
about that.
Remember, like, they'll never be able to beat this team because they got the harmonica ladies.
Genius stuff.
God, that was going back quite a ways. That's fun. That was a good weekly rankings right there. Let's get into that's good for the Italian Center, where they have had a hell of a run. A hell of a run with the Prince of Pie. Hopefully many of you hopped in on that pepperoni Prince of Pie during the playoffs. The panino, obviously, I mean, the pepperoni pizza is delicious. The paninos, Tommy had one for lunch the other day, whipped on down there to the West End location. If you've not yet been to an Italian Center shop, you're completely missing out. And if you're like, I don't know what to get my family for dinner tonight, there's 2 options. You can pop on in and get one of their ready-made pastas, or you can hop on their website and see all the different recipes they have for delicious meals as well.
I got a half a panino sitting in my fridge right now.
You know what you are? You're a lucky duck. You're a lucky duck.
Someone say lucky goose.
Before we get to the wrap, I want to share this. This is going to be my good from today. I've already got a good for Friday locked and loaded, which will be good too. But this is terrific. So Sickler, remember Sickler? Yeah. He's like, I have to go to
My
Red Deer for
business
work.
meetings. Yeah,
I hope I'm ready back in time for the game. Whatever, Sickler. Anyway, he goes to me. So he was in Red Deer yesterday for work. He texted me yesterday afternoon. He goes, we had a presentation by one of our IT guys about AI. And he was talking about all the different uses and avenues. And then he goes, this is what he said. I'm from Edmonton, and I listen to a digital radio station, and the host of the morning show, he used to be on TSN radio, where he would write lyrics to a song, and it would take a few weeks to get the project finished. Now with AI, he'll pump out a song in minutes. It felt like he had a new one every day when the playoffs got started.
You've been totally vindicated here, hey? Like
some guy, an IT guy for a company in Red Deer, was using our AI song production as an example of good things you can do with AI.
And I think the best part is you referred to us as an online radio station.
Yes!
Not a podcast.
Yeah, thank God somebody gets it. That was... Can you imagine that? Sickler, though. Like a fan of the show sitting there listening to this IT guy and being like, oh, good, we're going to talk about AI. Here we go, more on ChatGPT. And this guy goes, I'm from Edmonton.
Yeah.
And I listened to a digital radio station, and the host of the morning show, he used to be on TSN Radio, where he would write lyrics to a song and it would take a few weeks. Now with, hey, Belsey, now with the advancement of AI, he'll pump out a song in minutes. Like that's what you're saying to a company full of professionals.
Allow me to present an example. Good night.
And now, just so you can see, this is
You'll
just
turn your attention to the front.
This is just an example in 2025 of what your company can do with artificial intelligence. This is also preemptive sound of the day here.
Good night, golden nights. It's a gentleman's sweet. Good night, golden nights. Cup and put you to sleep. You'll never be a winner, 'cause you can't beat Stuart Skinner. Good night, golden nights.
God.
Oh, it is.
That was, that made my day yesterday. I said, this is hilarious.
That's amazing.
Somebody's using our little AI songs as an example of how AI can make your business
Digital
better.
radio station. Digital radio station.
Oh, that was too good. That was funny. Sheesh Edits over on the chat says, guys, I will never forget the Winya movement. That was so, yeah, God. Yes. We had the shirts. They sold out at $7.80. Can I get a Winya? That's a this year thing. That won't be a next year thing. Next year in the playoffs.
Yeah, clean slate.
2025 playoffs was the year of the Winya.
Yeah.
We'll come up with something crazy next year, too.
We won't play any old anthems from, right?
No, I would definitely do that. But no. I really wanted to do a thing with that, hey, yeah, Winya, if they would have won the cup. But whatever. It didn't work. All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as our old place, and eventually our new place, which we get the keys for here right away, get it done at William Huff. By the way, Bruce, I will be reaching out. I want you to come through the new office and do a walkthrough, and we can figure out. We have some questions about the current wraps here as well. Anyway, I'll be in touch, and I'll get you over to the new office, and we can take a peek at it. Lots of wall space. All right, what did we learn on the show today?
Well, I mean, we could go to PK Subban saying Connor McDavid must ask if Oilers are his future. We could go to the Rempe deal. We could go a lot of places, but you just hit it. If you did tune out while we had that little internet burp, you missed out on one of the biggest announcements of the summer.
Yeah.
And then that's lesson learned now that when we do take a break for issues sometimes outside of our control, you're going to come back with a heater.
Yeah, I don't know what'll be next.
Well, we'll get something going.
But we'll have to see. But yeah, we did. We out of rage this morning because of our internet here. I did announce that we are moving to a new office.
Huge news.
Kind of a slow move over the next month or so. We got to paint a couple walls. We got to get the wraps up. We got to get some furniture in place.
Clean the carpet.
Nope. I negotiated that into the lease. The carpets were cleaned yesterday, my man.
You son of a gun.
Yeah, I know. How about that? All right. Let's get to your Trev. How are you doing, buddy? I kind of kept you off the mic most of the day. I know you're a sad boy, so I didn't want you.
Nope.
But
appreciate it.
Did this show help you at all, or did you just make it worse?
No, as the day goes on, the hours pass, I feel a little bit better. It'll probably be a week for me to get over this.
A week off?
You know what? That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
No, not a week off. I mean, you'll be here, but
just a week.
Yeah.
That'll be good though.
All right, so I'm glad you're doing okay, buddy. All right, sound of the day. We did hit the. I'll hit one more AI song for sound of the day today, right? We let's do. Man, people are gonna be pissed if I do that one. I don't care. It's a good AI song.
He's a winner, Stuart Skinner. Get on your feet, he can't be beat. He's a winner, Stuart Skinner. Oh, what a treat. Get out your seat. The haters went silent. nothing to say. Real fans are on their feet applauding his play. He's locking it down between the pipes. He's just shutting the door every night. Other teams, they don't know what to do. So say it with me, his name is Stu. He's a winner.
Oh, I can't do it. Sorry, guys.
You're showcasing the AI.
I'm just showing the AI. This is what AI can do for your business too.
Yeah.
I want to get, this will be your text of the day quickly for A&W. There's so many text messages today. I'm sorry. We could not, in PJ's inbox took a pounding. And we've got a lot of Elks to talk about. We've got Riverhawks and Stingers play-by-play live right here on the station as well. But tons of Oilers offseason talk here. The debate about what you need to do with the roster is going to continue on until we get to probably the first 3 days of free agency. Then you got the McDavid contract to discuss all summer when that gets done. The Bouchard contract. I mean, you do not need to go anywhere else for your Oilers fix. A bunch of people are probably going to dial things back, but we're just going to continue to crank things right up here, which is going to be fun. Text of the day for A&W, where they got the new Masala Veggie Burger, and it's here to stay, only at A&W. Available now for limited time price for only $6. Crisp patty made with nanak paneer and a blend of real vegetables topped with spicy piri-piri sauce, layers of whole leaf lettuce, sliced tomato, red onion, all sandwiched between a freshly toasted seeded bun. Full flavor veggie burger that's here for good. Get your hands on it for limited time price. $6 Masala Veggie Burger today. I want to go with this one just from Baggio. Came in a few moments ago. Subban should be muted. I fully agree. Do not text into this station telling me what PK Subban has to say about Connor McDavid, because that's a waste of bloody time. Nobody cares.
Subban, Smith, Stephen A. Same type of thing.
That's the end of the show. We got the hangout coming up next. I said it this morning. I'll reiterate it again. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are going to deliver a Stanley Cup to this city. They're too damn good not to. It'll be on a lot of, they too need to be better. But they're going to get one for you. So I know it sucks
Subban was
today,
probably playing solitaire last night, on the phone.
God,
I bet you know what I'm saying.
You see this guy? You see that idiot Stephen A. Smith trying to back? I do it all the time. Nobody cares. Like, shut up, man.
That's not an out.
God, both of those guys drive me nuts.
I do it all the time.
Like Stephen A. Yeah.
So you don't watch any of the games?
He's just, I actually managed to stay not angry through this entire show. And now I'm angry because of those idiots.
Hey, just remember your big announcement on Friday, though, to come. That'll get you back.
One of the greatest moments of my life.
Right?
We'll have that recap on Friday. You guys won't believe it. You won't believe it. You won't believe what happened.
And it's not Nick Cage following you on X.
No, not but yet. But that'll be
Not
awesome
yet.
too.
Yes.
For YouTube Trev, Lieutenant Eric, I'm Dustin Nielsen. Hangout is coming up next. It's going to be a big one. Turn on autoplay. That'll take it right on over. Tell your friends about EST. This was a hell of a playoff run. The next 3 weeks are going to be critical in what's going to happen next for the Oilers. And the Elks are in action tomorrow. I can't wait to set that bad boy up for you as well. I'll be back with the Lock Shop at 11. Take it easy.